Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 Tonight. Let me just skip this wonderful intro, which I've overrun, but still, technical difficulties, as they say. Come on, go! It's not doing it, mummy! Right, let's get this to the end. Okay, for some unknown reason, it's not working. Okay, let's just go on to that then. Whoa. No cheating now, nobody looking. So here we are, this is F1 Tonight, and we are here for race 15 in Singapore, the city that never sleeps, and the track with a corner that's named after a drink. Did you know that, Adrian?
I did not, and hello, good evening. Oh, looks like it's raining. It's not
Yeah,
this
well,
PlayStation.
Don't give it away yet. So we are underway, and before we go too much further, as you can see, we're having a look at the driver championship. So leading the way is Seb Bogart on the 211, Davey Hartman second on 197, third Baz Breen on 162, fourth Rob Mouldering on 129, who, by the way, is not competing this evening due to penalties. We will come on to that shortly. John Dunkel is fifth on 127. Nicky Visser is sixth on 103. 7, we have Marcel Dronig on 65. So those 7 positions all stay where they are. But now we've got the movers and the shakers. Mark Stappers moves from 8 to 9. Peter Phillips moves from 9 to 8. So progression there for Peter Phillips. Zander Hermans, he drops from 10 to 12. And 11 stays Guido Earshine. 13 is his teammate Marco Pullen. So hang on, who's at number 10? Well, it's Boy Williamson for Mercedes. He's jumped up 3 places from 13 from last week to P10. Then we have in P14 Hans van der Berg. And a quick little mention for Hans van der Berg. He's a daddy. I don't know if it's the first time or the second time round, but he he didn't give birth, fortunately. Otherwise, he would have made medical history. But his dear wife gave birth to a gorgeous little baby girl. I think it was a couple of days ago. And this is dedication, Adrian. This is dedication. He's racing with us tonight.
He could be in the doghouse, couldn't he?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to get into personals here, but I'm very impressed with that. So congratulations, Hans and family.
Absolutely, congrats, thanks.
And 15, Martin Parder Cooper. 16, Jamie Collane. 17, Marcel France. 18, Miguel Torney. And 19, Kevin Van Delft. So those are the guys. And let's have a look at the Constructors' Championship now. Well, leading the way, still Renault, now on 289 points. Haas are second on 276 points. Third, Ferrari still, they're on 217 points. Then we have Sauber, they're in fourth on 183 points. Then we have Mercedes in fifth on 146. And then we have Toro Rosso in sixth place. 7, Force India. But McLaren dropped down to 9 with Williams jumping up to 8. So only 1 place between them. And Red Bull bringing up the rear there at this moment in time. Adrian, quick little chat there, obviously, with regards to the leaderboard, the championship, and also the team. I mean, Seb Bogart, 211, Damien Hartman, 197. He's only 14 points away from his arch rival now, isn't he?
Yeah, it seemed to be much closer this season than it was last season for Seb. Although ironically, he's actually scored more points at this point this season than he did at the same point last season. Yeah, as I say, it's very much closer. And in the constructors as well, I know Renault have been leading the championship, I think, since Bahrain, and I mean that gap has been tight in places. I think it dropped down to only about 6 points the last race, but obviously back up to 13 now as a result of Monza.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, still pretty close.
But still close though between Haas and Renault, and Ferrari obviously pulling a little bit away now from Sauber. but still within reach, and Mercedes still within reach of Sauber as well. So Sauber really need to take care, especially as they don't have Rob Mouldering racing this evening. So let's have a quick look at the track. It would be tricky, don't you think, Adrian? Because they could lose some serious points, and Rob could also, lose points. He's currently 4th in the championship on 129. John Donkel's on 127. So close, and Nicky Viss is on 103. If he gets a win, that's 128.
Yeah, it's going to be significant. Rob Mouldering is not at this, or not permitted to race at this Grand Prix.
Indeed, he's suffering a penalty, as we say. So here we are. This is the Marina Bay Street Circuit. 23 corners. It is pretty phenomenal, I have to say. Sector 1, well, that takes us up to just before turn 7. Then sector 2 takes us round to before Connaught, turn 14. And Singapore Sling there, you can see turn 10, by the way. So just think of a nice relaxing drink when they're going around turn 10 in that sector 2. And then sector 3, obviously, from just before 14 up to the start-finish line. 2 DRS, first detection zone is just as you're coming out of turn 4, and that takes you down then Raffles Boulevard, round turn 6 towards turn 7, Memorial Corner. And then the second zone is just before you get to turn 22. So once you've gone effectively under the bridge and coming towards the start-finish straight, and that is indeed on the start-finish straight, taking us up there. So it's going to be... I've got to say, it is a hell of a track, and it is, again, as many street circuits, you either love it or you hate it, don't you?
Yeah, it's really strange for me because I absolutely despised the track when it sort of first came around. I know it's been there for a few seasons now, about 6-7 years, something like that. And yeah, I really hated it, but absolutely adore the track now. It's one of my favourites. It's certainly one of my favourite street circuits, absolutely.
Well, it certainly is a challenge, that's for sure. So let's get into the queue. Q1 has started, so let's quickly flip over to that.
Really murky conditions.
We are on board at this moment in time with the Force India of Guido Airshine, and it is damp. You said it was raining, and it certainly is damp conditions, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not ideal. A couple of drivers actually still sitting in the pit with the dry tyres on, obviously hoping that the rain will subside, perhaps closer to the end of the session. But yeah, it's really rubbish driving in these conditions,
especially on this circuit, it has to be said. We got looking at 16 drivers this evening, and John Donkel for Renault and Boy Williamson Mercedes may well miss the queues as they could be running late, but definitely not attending is we don't have the Force India of Marco Pullen, the Red Bull, as I said, of Marcel France. Sorry, we don't have the Force India of Marco Pullen or the Red Bull of Marcel France, and as I said earlier, we don't have the Sauber of Rob Mouldering either. So 16 drivers. Just have a quick scan through and see who we are missing. And it is Boy Williamson, because John Donkel is in. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, so Boy Williamson.
Yeah.
Well, we have Kevin. No, we don't have Kevin Van Delft.
We
don't have Marco Pullen. John Muss we know. Marcel France we know. So I don't know where Kevin Van Delft is at this moment in time. So Boydenson, so it could be 17 actually. So we'll have a look at that. Oh, of course he's not in. Full stop, is he? He's left. How silly of him. Oh no, I don't know. We'll see. No, I think Delft is. Kevin is still in. But it's John Muss, so slight miscalculation on the numbers there. So we will be
sorry,
I
Eddie.
believe, at 16.
Sorry to interrupt you. There's some debris on the track actually. Just
I noticed that as they're coming at the end of sector 3.
Yeah, that's off of Sander Herman's Toro Rosso. He's coming in the pit now actually. That was on his hot lap.
And Hans van der Berg, the proud father, coming into the pits now as well. Martin Paardekooper is out, Marcel Dronig. So at this moment in time, it's 10 minutes to go. Nicky Viss is setting the fastest provisional time on those intermediates to 1:53. Obviously, on the dry tyres, we would expect it to be a lot faster than that. The track has dried up, though. I think we should see the drivers coming in and going on. Indeed, that's what they're all doing, isn't it? They're all coming into pits and going on
Yeah.
to the dry set of tyres. In fact, Miguel
This
Torney
track
is the first man.
This track does tend to drive very quickly. Obviously, it's quite a hot country, Singapore. It's always pretty humid, and it will just sort of dry up almost immediately as soon as it stops raining. To be fair, and it wasn't raining very much actually at the start of the session anyway.
Yeah, enough to obviously get those intermediates on. We are on board at this moment in time with Miguel Torney. Everyone coming in. While we got this break of the drivers coming in and going onto the dry tyres, we were looking at the comparisons, and you made reference to it earlier on, Adrian, when we were having a look through the Drivers' Championship in comparison to last year. And we've been given some figures which are pretty amazing, I've got to say. Obviously, Davey Hartman, 62 points ahead of where he was in this position last season. That's pretty phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real sign of sort of how much he has improved as a driver. Not that he was sort of too bad at all last season anyway, but this season he just seems to have bundles of confidence. He's leading the championship for a long period of time actually at the sort of the earlier stages of this season, and I think it could be one for I absolutely would not write him off for the championship title. I think there's 5 races to go.
Yeah,
after
indeed.
this one.
It is only 5 races to go, and as you quite rightly say, Damien, I think stands a very, very good chance of getting that championship for this season. So, I mean, he's 60 points. John Donkel, 38 points ahead. Peter Phillips, 34 points ahead. And Marcel Dronig, 23 points ahead. And again, we can see that reflected in this season, can't we, Adrian? In where the guys are and how they're actually doing in the championship. Marcel Dronig is currently 7th in the championship. John Donkel is 5th. And Peter Phillips, as I said, just took that 8th place from Mark Stappers.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that all those drivers that you just named have done, have scored more points at this point this season than they did at the same point in the previous season. Because we've seen that from their races. Peter Phillips, especially, he's come a long way, and I think he could be. I'm expecting podiums. I think next season, and maybe even towards the end of this season. John Donkel as well. John Donkel as well. He's notched up he had a win at Spain. That was a really sort of hard-fought victory, actually, that one. And I think there's plenty more to come from him as well.
No, I've got to say, I totally agree with you on that one, Adrian. And it's good to see those guys, doing well and improving, obviously, from previous seasons as well. So, always great to see. Zander Hermans, obviously, he started a little bit further in. He's actually started in Austria. So it's from Austria to Italy. But he's already on plus 23. So, again, fantastic reflection on his improvement from last season.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the difference in his confidence in his overtakes, especially this season compared to last season. I remember last race of the season, of last season, he was sort of a bit. He seemed to have a better pace, would you believe, than Baz de Briem, but he did not have the confidence to actually make the overtake and end up just settling for the position behind.
If I remember rightly, you actually said at the time he didn't have the cojones.
That's right. That was well remembered. And I mean, I have to be honest. I think we've seen a completely different driver this season from Sanders. Yes, it's really good to see. And again, he's going to be one to watch at the later stages of this season and indeed into next season.
Yeah, I totally concur with you on that one. Definitely a driver to watch. Interestingly, Seb Bogart up 11 points from last year, and he was leading the championship all the way through. He was pretty much dominating it, and that was a bit of a surprise, I've got to say.
Yeah, I mean, it was something like, this is just from memory now, I think he was something like 80 points ahead by Singapore, even though he only had 200, but now he's got 211. He's actually only, 16? I can't remember the points difference between him and Damie.
14.
14 points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's doing better, but Damien Hartman's doing so much better than he did last season. That's the difference there. He's got so much fight in him.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you on that. And it's his. He's in second place at the moment. He has led this championship, but I think he stands a great opportunity of winning. Now, I'm just going to go now on to Martin Parder Cooper, because and I want to reflect on Martin, because we've made a lot of comment this season about Martin and what a capable driver he is, and this season just has not so far panned out for him, but we expect to see him on that podium. 60 points behind where he was same time in season 4, and that really is a reflection of what we've been saying during the course of this season and the races that we've seen Martin in, isn't it? And he's just not in the right place for this season at this moment, is he?
Yeah, no, he's absolutely out of. I consider him out of position, certainly in the championship. And that's the thing with confidence. It can go both ways, can't it? You can have a couple of bad results at the start of the season, and it does knock you, and it stays with you, and it can be really, really difficult to shake. But that's what makes a champion. Is someone who's able to pick themselves back up like immediately after a poor result. We're not quite seeing that from Martin just yet, but we know he's got the pace to just. Sorry, I've just seen Seb Bogard retire. Is that intentional? Is that because we've only got 15 drivers? I don't think that was on track. Yeah, I think they're ending.
I think
Q1,
it's not on track. I was just checking on there. It doesn't look like it is. I think they're just ending the session. We've got 3 minutes remaining, as we know. Obviously, we've got the 15 drivers, so all 15 will go through. They're all waiting. Possibly Boy Williamson coming in, but unfortunately he hasn't. So I just think we're probably going to wind up on this session. So definitely Martin Parder Cooper, not where we expect him to be, and I think not where he expected to be. But hopefully we'll see him, pull it up maybe towards the end of this season. But again, there's always season 6. So I want to see him come back, because he's a more than competent driver. Also, Miguel Torney was down 29 points. Guido Airshine down 27 points, which surprised me from this time last season. Nicky Visser down 13, but we know obviously that's mainly due to him not attending a few races there. But other than that, it's pretty much sort of evened out effectively. A few other figures there, but interesting discussion certainly with regards to those drivers we've been looking at, and a number of promising drivers coming through obviously this season as well. The likes of certainly Zander Hermans, and we haven't seen a lot as yet from Jamie Collane, but I'm sure we will see more from him as time progresses as well.
Yeah, I've had a lot of experience racing with Jamie Collane in in Synergy Division 2. Both just competed in. I think he was there in the Invitational season as well. So we've done 2 seasons together, more or less. And yeah, he's one of those drivers that. It's really funny because you think you've actually got more pace than him, but on track, I think he's just able to get more out of the car. He doesn't tend to qualify too well, but his races, when he does keep it together and finish the race, he does normally do quite well, or he did so in Synergy. He hasn't really had sort of very much luck in F1 tonight. But I do have a lot of respect for him, and I know he's very skilled, and I think he's definitely got the ability to score good points, but whether he will or not, we have to wait and see.
Well, it's difficult as well, rookie season, and also you're used to maybe running 50% races, 25% races. It is very, very different when you come into 100% races, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it's a completely different ball game. You could just think, oh, well, it's just twice the distance. Yeah, but there's so many other things. Consistency and composure. You're probably your biggest enemies, or poor composure would be your biggest enemy in a 100% race. You've got totally different strategy calls as well. You can push the tyres, in a different way, not necessarily harder, but you've just got to pace yourself. This lap is this circuit is what is it, 60 something laps?
Yep.
56 laps, something like that. I'm trying to think of the top of my head.
I have no
And,
idea, Adrian.
yeah.
I'll let you do that.
I'm trying to work it out for the track length. It's supposed to be 305 kilometres. I'm just trying to divide it. Yeah, it's something like that.
Google, Adrian. Google.
Yeah,
That's what you need to
I'll
do.
Google it. I can't Google and talk. That's the difficulty I'm having at the moment.
How do you think I feel?
I don't know if you noticed earlier on. We spoke about Seb Bogart. He retired the car and then he left the session. I haven't seen him rejoin. I'm just trying to find out from the stewards and the admins if there is actually an issue. I'll keep you updated on that.
Yeah, please, by all means do. Well, the drivers are still running out there. We are going to be running to the end of this session. 2 minutes are remaining at the moment. But we can see there, Nicky Visser heading up this Q1. Everyone's gone out on the Hypersofts. So Nicky Visser with a 136.7. And then we have Damie Hartman on a 137.0, next closest man. So I've got to say that's quite a gap there. What are we looking at? Good. Well, certainly 3 tenths, nearly 4 tenths. Then we have Marcel Dronig. He's currently up in P3 with a 137.215. Xander Hermans a 137.250. We have Baz de Breen 137.466. Guido Ershine 136.686. Jamie Collane there in provisional P7 for this queue. Hans van der Berg is P8. I think he's pretty tired actually, so it's going to be interesting to see how he lost in this 100% race. Martin Parder Cooper is 9. Peter Phillips 10. Mark Stappers 11. Rob Mouldering, as we know, is not in. John Donkel. Is he actually, I'm just thinking actually, is Rob Mouldering just suffering a penalty, or is he actually out of this race? Because I've got him showing as in the pits out of sync with the others that are behind actually. Because
yeah,
on there.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, it always puts them in the pit, even if they're not actually physically there. But yeah, I know didn't he stay out last race as well? He sat out at.
Yeah, I'm sure he did last year. Yeah, definitely. Which is given the opportunity there. We'll see what happens. Anyway, Q1 is now over, and we're going across now to Q2, and this is the one that counts, isn't it, Adrian? This is the one where we start to see a little bit better what people are actually doing.
Yeah, it's the drivers put their cards on the table a little bit.
Actually, sorry, Adrian, I think Seb Bogart and Miguel Torney have actually quit out because we've got 11 drivers going through, so I'm not too sure whether there may be an issue or not. We'll keep an eye on that and keep you informed.
Well, Miguel Torney, I did see actually crashed out earlier on while we were talking about the other drivers. I believe he's still in the session, but Seb Bogart, his power actually went off. I don't know if he had a power cut or something.
Oh right.
So if he does rejoin, which I'm sure he will be starting at the back of this grid.
Indeed, he will. So that's going to be rather unfortunate. So we're into Q2. And we have 12 drivers only competing in this queue. So clearly we've had some issues there. So 2 drivers will be dropped from this queue. And conditions are now stable, aren't they? They look like they're pretty much dry.
Yeah, I was trying to have a look at the track temperature actually. Yeah, track temperature 25 degrees, ambient 29. It's always pretty warm in Singapore, even at this time of night.
So there we have John Donkel just coming out now. So for one of those of you wondering why we say John or Jonah, it's actually Jonathan, but unfortunately not enough space to put that on the tag, so I kept it Dutch and went for Jonah. Although, to be said, he's no whale, and he's certainly not bad luck, is he?
Certainly not.
So
just to clarify, yeah, it's 61 laps. Is the race
61 laps. So 61 laps. It's a hell of a race. It really is. I mean, I've got to say, this is probably a lot of people's. Well, I think in real world F1, a lot of people's favourite track to go to. It was certainly ranked as the favourite, I think, street track, and that's even taking into account Monaco. But I think it's been slightly overtaken since the introduction of Baku from those standings, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, Baku's done really well for itself. Actually, had an absolutely brilliant first race in 2014, I thought. And yeah, it's looking like a track that's going to stick around for a long time. And yeah, it has certainly become a fan favourite, much as Singapore has actually. It's had a similar story, around that as well.
Indeed, John looking a little bit wobbly out of 2021, but now on that straight to do his fast lap. And we can see there a number of drivers have gone. John's on the Hypersoft, but we've got a number of drivers on the Ultrasoft as well. And indeed, some gone for the hardest compound tyre, the soft, which is rather surprising, I've got to say.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just sort of putting out a banker lap in this Q2, seeing if they can squeeze through, knowing that only 2 drivers will drop out. So that's all they've got to do: beat 2 drivers on that hardest tyre, and if they can start on the softs, then that gives them a bit of an advantage over the others, particularly if they're able to start on the front row as well.
Yeah, definitely can give them a major dance. Those 2 drivers being Jamie Collane and Nicky Visser. And I think Nicky Visser is probably the man that's more likely to take advantage of it, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he should be. On paper, it would be Nicky Visser, but do not count out Jamie Collane. He is full of surprises.
Well, as I say, we are on board with John Doncourt. His first fast lap as he comes round the end of Sector 3. Underneath the bridge now into turn 18, Bay, and then reason being that it overlooks the Bay, surprisingly enough, around 21.
Just give you an idea of pace between the tyres, Eddie. Sorry, this is time is about half a second slower in Sector 1 than John Doncourt's, and John Doncourt obviously just gone first with a 38.1.
So it'd be interesting to see what Nicky Visser can do. Where is he? Let's go down to him. He's just coming around now.
Yeah, half a second down in the middle sector as well. You'd have to say this is going to be about a 39.7. Oh, slippery.
Ooh, looking very wobbly though on those softs. But 39.7. Good shout there, Adrian, got to say. 38.3 from Zander Hermans, and Mark Stappers 38.5. Martin Parder-Cooper 138.8. So as you say, I mean, Nicky, all he's got to do is just beat 2 drivers. So it's worth him staying out there and maybe getting a little bit more, I suppose, wear on those softs. Not that he's got much choice. Obviously, he was on a fast lap, so it could be an in lap. But he looks like he's going for it in this lap as well, though.
It does look like it, yeah. Jamie's come back into the pit. That's strange. He was on for a fairly decent lap, actually better than Visser's on the same tyre. But he's decided to come in. I'm just intrigued as to what he's going to go back out on. Surely the Ultras. I wouldn't personally bother with the Hypersoft for a starting time.
Well, I've got to say, watching Nicky Visser, it's a little bit twitchy into those corners. It doesn't quite seem to have the confidence.
Hartman's about to go top.
Look at that, Damie Hartman.
36.9.
Fantastic result there from Damie Hartman. Let's have a quick
Sorry
look
to interrupt you.
No. So
136 around the track there.
136.9. I mean, that is that's pretty good going, really. Got to say, 136.9.
Yeah.
I mean, 137.4 there we see. He is on the Ultrasofts, but certainly a good run. I mean, plenty of time though still left in this queue. I mean, 9 minutes remaining, and I would expect to start seeing those times come down. I mean, are we likely, do you think, sorry, not 139, 136.9. Are we likely, do you think, to see the low 136s, or even, God forbid, a 135?
Yeah, I think some drivers will creep under that 36.0 mark. I don't think it'll be in this qualifying session because there's honestly no need to push that hard, and the drivers know that the more or the less wear they can put on the tyres in this session, the more of an advantage they'll have in the opening phase of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, indeed. It does make sense. I mean, Nicky Visser's hanging in there at the moment in 10. Jamie Klein has gone back out on a fresh set of softs. Maybe it was just a bit of a setup issue that he had. Maybe just looking to put a bit more downforce on that rear wing, which is why he came in.
Well, it wouldn't be able to adjust the rear wing. Is already. Actually, no, he didn't actually set a lap, did he? He just did an outlap, so I think he is permitted to adjust that rear wing. Yeah, the part ferme rules are if you do complete a lap in qualifying, then the only thing you can adjust on your car after that, and the tyre pressures, the amount of fuel in the car, and the front wing angle.
But in this instance, as he hadn't completed, would he be able to adjust the rear wing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he would be.
Right. I wasn't too sure.
Oh no, hold on, no, he wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't be. No, you don't be able to adjust the front wing in that case, wouldn't he?
Yeah. This is Q2. So regardless whether he completed a lap or not, he wouldn't be able to adjust the rear wing. Apologies.
No, it's okay. I'll let you off, Adrian. Don't do it again, though.
Yes, I do.
You do it again, you're gonna get the sack. You do realise that.
Oh, well, good luck to you.
It's a P45 in the post for those Dutch viewers. That's a bit of a joke in the UK. If somebody tells you the P45 in the post, the P45 is your tax return once you actually quit a job, which is mandatorily sent to you by your former employer. So if you ever have an Englishman cracking that joke at you, you will now understand it.
I don't think I've ever heard that explained so well.
Well, what can I say? It's come from my fair lips, Adrian.
Jamie Klein is on an improved first sector. This second sector is looking good as well. This is certainly going to get him in the top 10, which is going to push Nicky Visser out.
Okay, well, this is going to be interesting because this is going to be the battle, effectively, then of the softs in this case between Jamie and Nicky.
Poor middle sector from Jamie. It's enough. 39.3. I feel there's more of him. More for him to give in that car.
Well, he's certainly improved on that. It has pushed down, obviously, Nicky Visser now into P11, so Nicky's going to have to respond. But Peter Phillips not set a time as yet. He's actually out on track. I think he's on his. Is he on his out lap or is he on his fast lap at this moment in time?
Who's that? Sorry.
Peter Phillips.
Oh, Peter Phillips. Big pardon. He is on his hot lap.
So Peter Phillips, let's ride on board.
Yeah, decent first and second sectors. I think. Oh, he's just bounced off the wall there. I didn't see any damage.
No, still looking good. He's towards the end now of that final sector, coming round those wonderful turns 18, 19, or Bay, and then 2021.
So he actually lost a second or two in the middle sector. In fact, he's backing off big time. Gonna go for it again.
So backing off, getting himself ready now to make another attack run effectively on this, and it's all hanging now. Well, at this moment in time, just over 4 minutes remaining. It's all hanging here with Peter. Really, he's the man that could very much make a big difference here for those soft runners.
Well, Nicky's coming across the line now. I don't know if this is an improvement. Oh, it is. It is. 38.5.
What a fantastic run there from Nicky Visser. So that now puts him up into P9 position with a 138.5. It puts Martin Parder-Cooper down to 10, and Jamie Collane out. So now it's the the shoe is on the other foot, so to speak. I have to be very careful how to say that.
I think we're going to see Jamie come in and run onto the ultra soft tyres. I also want to point out, actually, Nicky's done 5 laps now on those soft tyres. That is really not good for the for his opening stint. As I said earlier on, you push too hard in this qualifying session, and you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, you're prejudicing yourself really for that final queue, and also for the start of the race as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why he wants to start on the soft tyres, but there has to come a point where you pull the plug on that plan and just change over to something else.
Yeah, no, you see it quite often though. Sometimes when drivers prepare their strategies, you don't have. It's not like in the real world F1 where you have a whole team of people behind you, guiding you and advising you. So what the driver has to do is just concentrate on the driving. In this sim racing and in the F1, you have to do your own strategy, and you really do. It is a big part of the race, and especially, I will say, more so when you're doing these 100% races. It becomes even more important than normal, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, well, Formula One driver is a full-time job, but race strategist is also a full-time job as well. So it's going to be very difficult to try and do both of those things at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to confirm, Eddie, Jamie Culhane is indeed on the ultra soft tyres as expected.
Yeah, he has gone on to those ultras, just letting. I think that's Peter Phillips past him actually.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, Peter Phillips just coming past him now, looking to improve on that 148. Certainly more than capable of doing it, but it is such a tough track. And again, it does. I keep saying this, and I've said this to other drivers. It is practice, practice, practice. It's the only way that you get to learn the tracks and to improve. And it's the same in any sport, and it is, definitely so in this sport, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been playing Formula One games for nearly 25 years, and even when you think you are pretty good, you you start playing against some of these guys, or in other leagues and things, and you realise, oh, actually, like, I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And it's it can be really demoralising actually to race against some of the faster guys of the world. Peter Phillips has just gone 11th, by the way.
Well,
39.2, not enough.
He's now pushed Jamie down into P12, and Jamie's now on his fast lap, and Peter reciprocating there, moving across just before, I think just after turn 3 there. So giving Jamie the clear run that he needs to try and set that fast lap. And it is, I mean, this really is such a tricky track, isn't it? It really is, got to say.
Even at the best of times, it is really difficult to get right. Parda could be just crossing the line now, 10 seconds before the end of the session, so he'll be able to complete this lap, which is going to be vital because he is in real risk of being eliminated from this qualifying session.
Well, he's
Jamie
in
Culhane on a
danger zone, isn't he? That P10, it's always a danger zone.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on both Jamie and Martin, because only one of these is going to make it into Q3. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm running on board at the moment with Jamie Culhane. It's just coming round towards turn 18 and 19 round bay into turn 20, 21 now. 22, penultimate turn. Tricky turn as you're coming onto the straight. What can Jamie Culhane do? Look at that! Wow. Fantastic! 1:37.099. Where did that come from?
I told you don't count him out. He is absolutely full of surprises. He told me before the start of this qualifying session, qualifying period, that his target was to just make it into Q3. So he will be absolutely ecstatic with that result there.
Very, very happy with that. I mean, fantastic job there. Pushes past the Breen down place into 3. But more interestingly, I mean, how does that now obviously reflect on those guys that are in the drop zone. So Peter Phillips has come in. I think Peter Phillips has just said, "No, that's it. I'm in the pits." Parder Cooper as well, and Nicky Visser scrapes through, doesn't he, on those softs? I mean, Jamie was on the softs as well. He decided to go on to the ultras. Good for him. Pushed him up, looking to that P2 position. But Nicky Visser still sitting at 10. And it just goes to show you the difference between those softs and those ultra softs. It's quite a dramatic difference, I have to say.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between those two tires there. Yeah, the Hypersoft tire I don't find is a very sort of viable tire in any strategy on this circuit. It just disintegrates far too quickly, and the game over the ultra soft tire is not enough to really warrant another pit stop. Yeah,
because I mean this track is very tough on the tyres. And in particular, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I would suspect it's probably going to be tough on the front tyres.
I will correct you on that because it's the rear tyres that burn out quicker on this circuit than
I thought
the front.
The fronts. Right.
Yeah, well, it can depend on your drive style and your setup, but I personally find the rear tyres burn out quicker because of the sort of low speed corners that you've got. Where you've got low speed corner that leads out onto a long straight. It's all too tempting to get on the throttle that bit quicker or that bit sooner, and you end up putting a lot of wear on the rear tyres.
Yeah, no, actually, that does make sense. So I'm happy to be corrected in those instances, Adrian. No problem there. So there we are now in Q3. Sorry, Adrian, you can say?
Yeah, I was going to say something else to point out actually while we're talking about the tyres is they have a real tendency to overheat in Singapore. I'd noticed that happen quite significantly in the Synergy races. Although I had a career race here just a couple of days ago, and the temperatures didn't get anywhere near to what they got in my league race. So I wonder if they've actually nerfed that problem with the overheating. They were reaching something stupid like 120 degrees, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that is a little bit excessive, even for for a sim. I mean, I wouldn't expect the real world tyres to be running at that, and if they were, then they could probably drive easily upside down in that supposed tunnel that exists.
I think there's an issue with the session, by the way. I think we might be restarting Q3.
I think we are going to be restarting Q3 because clearly there was an issue there.
Yeah, it looks like Seb Bogard was kicked from the session, and they are going to restart it as Baz de Breen. Baz de Breen was kicked, but because he's the host of the session, they are going to have to restart it.
Yeah, it's wouldn't normally be looking at a restart with technical issues with the F1 Tonight League, but obviously, as it was the host for the session, slightly different, I guess. So we're going to just wait now for the guys to come back. I want to discuss that Jamie Collane lap a little bit more. We haven't seen a huge amount from Jamie since he's joined the league. And as I said, obviously, it is that transition period. It's not necessarily that surprising. Is this the Jamie Collane that you've been speaking of before? Are we now starting to see Jamie coming into a more comfortable sort of position and a bit more comfortable with the racing?
I think the Jamie that we've just seen there setting that lap, I've never even seen that Jamie before. I don't know where that came from. That was something else. There, I don't know whether he just absolutely loves this track, but I'm trying to think back to the Synergy races at Singapore with Jamie and how he did there. I don't remember him being sort of too spectacular, but yeah, what a lap that was! Only a 10th off of Damien Hartman's time. And Hartman is a championship contender, bona fide championship contender there.
Indeed. Have you got the invite for?
I have. I'm just literally about to send you one now.
That's right. I've got one. I'm in.
All right.
So we're just restarting the session now. Yeah, I mean that definitely came. Well, I would say left field, but I think that's more from a westerly direction about Mach 2.
That's a fantastic analogy there.
It's only because I had the red arrows flying over yesterday, and it just sort of made me think of it. I write all these down, Adrian, during the week. You don't realise that. I've got a notepad here.
I bet you actually do. Yeah. Can easily imagine it.
I shouldn't be giving away my secrets, really, should I?
Not really, no. Suppose you have to write things down at your age.
No, that's harsh. That is harsh, I've got to say. But viewers,
I'll take that
I want you to put comments in those comment boxes now about how harsh my co-commentator is being here.
Can we edit that bit out?
Now?
I don't know if that's possible.
Can we move on now? Well, actually, while we've got a little bit of a gap, we've got a celebration race coming up in the not too distant future, and that's going to be race 200 for F1 tonight, and that's going to actually be at the USA Grand Prix. So big celebration going on there. Also, we've been speaking last week. Was it last week? And I think the week before as well, with regards to setting up for the F1 Tonight UK League. And how's that progressing, Adrian?
That has come a long way from what I can see. Obviously, I'm not too au fait with the admins of that group, but I know that there is a massive interest, particularly from I mentioned a few times the Synergy drivers.
Yeah, great league,
fantastic
quite
keen to race. I myself have put myself forward as a driver in that league. So unfortunately, you won't have, or possibly fortunately, you won't have me on commentary.
No, I won't have you on commentary. But Nicky Visser has already, elected to jump in and assist me. So I'll have a far better. I mean, I'll have another assistant for that one.
I nearly didn't hear that.
That was the idea.
Very sly.
Oh,
but yeah, no, lots of interest for the F1 Tonight UK League. That actually begins. I think they're talking end of August, early September. I don't know if the actual date has been confirmed. I remember hearing something about the 3rd of September floating around.
Yeah, I think the race dates have now been confirmed, and what I'm going to do, depending on what happens this week, but I might leave it for USA, is do a little bit more of an in-depth intro, I think, for USA into the UK League, and actually put up the race calendar for both leagues. The idea is going to be that both leagues will race the same race on the same week. Slight discrepancies, only 2 discrepancies with that during the course of the race season. But I think that's going to be very interesting again, isn't it? To see that comparison between the 2 leagues, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, you say the same week. It's actually, I think they're going to do the F1 Tonight.
Yeah,
the F1 Tonight Netherlands race will be first on a Thursday, and then the corresponding UK race will be the following Tuesday.
Tuesday, correct.
So they'll always be sort of 5 days, 5 days behind. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see actually the comparison in the sort of overall pace of each of the drivers, the strategy calls. I know in the UK League, the majority of the drivers are they're much younger overall than the F1 Tonight Netherlands league that we're watching here now. But it'd be interesting to see. I don't know how many of those in the UK one have actually done 100% races. I know I haven't.
Well, what I'd suggest is get your practice in, boys.
Absolutely.
Because it is a different beast to what you're accustomed to. So we'll do a big launch on that, I think, for USA in celebration, obviously, of the F1 Tonight, the original, and Dutch league, obviously, that we are viewing at this moment in time. clearly we're still having some connection issues unless they are in and I'm not spectating. Let's have a quick look.
That's a pain because I'm really hyped up for this this
Yeah.
racing. Do love
No,
Singapore. Love watching Singapore.
it's still an issue, so we're just waiting for some drivers to come in. I think Seb Bogart though still not there by the looks of it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's not good.
Let's have a look, see what we're doing here. We're just going to have a quick bit of contact with race control so we can keep you. So waiting on Zander Hermans. So Zander Hermans having to do a reboot. And so that's who we're waiting on at this moment in time. So, yeah, so that's the UK League, and we are projected to be starting beginning of September in conjunction, obviously, with the Dutch League as well.
It's worth pointing out as well, actually, just while we're talking about the UK version. If drivers or if viewers are interested in getting involved in the league, then I think probably the best thing you could do is just leave a comment actually in this this YouTube video.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll pick it up and forward it onto the F1 Tonight UK admins.
Yeah, so if you're on Xbox, then please do add in your Xbox tag or some sort of contact. I don't know if you can contact people via their YouTube tag. I presume you can.
I believe you can. Yeah.
So
well, I might just reply against each comment.
So if you're watching and you're interested in taking part, then please do drop a note in on the comments, or alternatively, if you're on Xbox, you can go on to Xbox F1 Tonight, or you can go onto the Facebook page as well. We don't have links up and running at this moment in time for those, or indeed for Twitter, etc. We are on all of those, but we will have those up. I think there may be some on the... They are, I think the link's on the YouTube homepage for F1 Tonight, though, I think.
Yes.
They are. So you can always follow those links and show your interest with regards to that. Race, as we said, it is race 15. We've got 6 races remaining, and there are those that are saying it's probably the more exciting races towards the end of the season, because we've got some very interesting tracks, haven't we, to follow.
Yeah, certainly from my perspective as a driver, actually. Yeah, they're definitely my favourite ones towards the end of the season rather than the opening ones.
Well, we've got Sochi, followed by Japan, Mexico, USA, Brazil, and then the final Abu Dhabi. So a real mix of
they're all fast tracks
there.
Yeah. Seb, we've rejoined the session. Seb Bogard has not returned to the qualifying session. He's got a total power outage in his house. I don't know if he's going to actually make it back for the race.
Right, so I'm just jumping back in again. I had to flip that. So just jumping in. So Seb Bogart, unfortunately, and I suppose let's draw the real world synergy. He's had a total power failure on his unit, and unfortunately means that he will not be racing unless that does get resolved or repaired before the end of this queue. Now that's going to make life very interesting, and with the best will in the world, I don't think Davey Hartman's going to be too disappointed with that.
Yeah, you sort of read my thoughts. I didn't really want to sort of say too much because it's not great when you win a championship or beat someone in a race because they couldn't attend because they've got no power. But it's one of those things, unfortunately, isn't it? People have technical issues, or
let's put it like this: it didn't bother
severe.
James Hunt when he won his championship.
No, absolutely not.
And I think the situation was even worse for that season. That was we're just referring to the iconic season with the greatly missed and dearly departed Niki Lauda. For those of you that are not aware of it, I'd say watch the movie actually, because it really does play it very, very well indeed. I'm just trying to think what's the name of it actually.
Um, I can't remember. It's one word. It's 4 letters. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Who's the old guy now, Adrian? With failing
go
memory. Who's the old guy now with failing memory, Adrian? That's all I can say.
Rush. That's what it was called. I told you it was one word, 4 letters. I just couldn't remember what that word was.
Thank God for Google. That's all I can say on that one.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I didn't Google that.
You know me, I can't Google and talk.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah. Okay, you got Cortana. You could always say that. Ooh, I better be careful not to say it too loud, actually. So, Damien Hartman now starting his fast lap. And Damie, obviously, he's done very well so far. Did a great job in Q2. And this is now the time when we make that decision as to who we're going to see on that pole position. And Adrian, you went first last week, so I'm going to go this week. I am going to go with Nicky Visser, actually.
Yeah, good shout. We know, Q2 was a bit of a funny one for Nicky, wasn't it? He was on the soft tyre, and sort of scraped through. Did 5 laps on those tyres. We know he has got pace. He didn't show it in the previous session because of the tyre that he was using. So, yeah, it's a good shout. Personally, dare I say it, Jamie Collane. I'm taking him for pole position. Jamie all the way.
I had a sneaking suspicion you were going to say that, Adrian. I don't know why. I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck, which are extensively long, standing up at that point. I've got to say.
And on a personal note as well, I would absolutely love Jamie to be on pole. That'd be that'd make my day. Representing Synergy there.
Absolutely, and Jamie Collane, a much loved and participant and driver also with the Synergy League. You will hear us mentioning Synergy a lot. I think we can pretty much count on them really as being, I suppose, a bit of a sister league, really, so to speak. Not a brother league, but a bit more of a sister league, really. So
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
A lot of
Synergy.
good contact and positivity between the leagues, and indeed a number of Synergy drivers going to be participating in the F1 Tonight league once it gets underway. Predominantly those obviously that are in the Division 1 because they race on a Wednesday, so it's an ideal situation for them.
Baz de Breen is just at 36.1. That is some 6 or 7 tenths faster than any lap we've seen today.
Well, that is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, what I was saying earlier on, wasn't I? You know, are we going to see those low 136s or even into the 135s? And I think that's pretty much the answer to that one, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't expect it to happen so early in this session. It's Baz de Breen's first lap on those ultra soft tyres, and what a lap it was.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what is he actually doing that on? And he has actually done that on that's the Hypersofts, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the Hypersoft. Damien Hartman's just gone purple in the second sector. Not a great first sector though, so I don't know whether this will topple Baz. I think it's going to be a 36.4. Looking at that, it's difficult because this last sector I can't quite judge it. 36.4, I think.
Let's have a look at this. Look at that. Yep, 36.2. Slightly out there, Adrian, by 2 tenths. So you're going to have to brush up on that homework a bit, I think, my friend. But
I was only 1,000th for a second out in Q2 on someone's time, whoever that was.
So Damien Hartman goes into divisional P2 with that 136.2. Nicky Visser is currently in the pits. He's done a 136.7, so he clearly thinks he can better that. John Donkel out on track at the moment, 137.0. That puts him provisional second row P4. Oh, just dropped down to 5. Guido Airshine just took that P4 position from him with a 136.914. So almost a tenth ahead of John Donkel there. And we've seen
Hans looking good as well.
Yeah, let's have a quick look at
P7 for Hans.
the father. Hans van der Berg, the recent father there, and he's racing with a pink helmet, pink crash helmet, I will outline, by the way, for this race in honour of the birth. Sander Hermans, he's currently P8, 137.8. Mark Stappers just coming into his pit now, not set a time, and Jamie Collane is actually out on track now. I think he's actually coming up for his fast lap, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just winding up. Ready to pounce and set this hot lap.
So let's go.
Good luck to Jamie.
Board for this hot lap of Jamie Collane. He put in a major surprise in Q2, coming in second in Q2 out of seemingly nowhere. So let's see if he can actually maintain this momentum. Nice smooth, certainly drive there.
.26.9 in the first sector, not purple, but it's not too bad. Compared to 26.4 from Braz de Brink, he's actually 5/10 off of Baz.
He's just coming around turn 10 now. Coming down to turn 10, and this is the Singapore Sling. I can understand why they call that, because you really do sling your shot yourself around 10 into 11 and 12. Over the bridge, down to that hairpin of 13. Onto the straight now. Going down towards 14. Into sector 3, final sector now.
10th faster than
shabby,
Baz.
is it?
He's faster than Baz in the second sector.
Winds himself around 17. Coming down to the final sets. Returns to sector 3, round Bay, into 19.
Oh, Donkel's retired.
Round
That's
20.
on track.
Into 21. Coming round 22, penultimate turn now. What can Jamie Collane deliver? 136.5. Puts him up into P3, second row. And, well, we haven't seen this from Jamie so far this season, but we're certainly seeing it here in Singapore, aren't we, Adrian?
Yeah, this is phenomenal stuff. I think it's his best quali prior to today was P8, I think it was.
Yeah.
P9.
Yeah. I think it was actually P9, I believe. I don't think he got to the dizzying heights of P8, but fantastic run from him, got to say.
Yeah, he's actually rushing around to get into the pit to try and set another lap, but I think it's going to be in vain. It's come out a bit awkward with the time remaining. There won't be enough, surely, to set another lap.
Well, Nicky Visser is out on track at this moment in time. He's currently sitting in that P4 position. He's just in sector 1 now. Then John Donko, as we said, he's gone out. We've got Marcel Dronig. He's on his out lap, as is Hans van der Berg. Zander Herman still to set a time, and I'm surprised by that, because Zander's really been showing some fantastic form in qualifying this season, but he doesn't seem to be able to be getting it together here at this moment in time, does he?
No, he doesn't seem to be having very much fun with Singapore, and it is many drivers' bogey track in fairness. I said I used to hate it. I just could not click with it, and then one day it sort of all fell together. I don't really know what happened. It just sort of became really smooth.
I've got to say,
and he's just invalidated. He's just invalidated
his lap. You know, one of the horror turns that I despise on this is turn 9. Funnily enough,
I'm trying to visualise turn 9.
That's the sort of, if you like, the one where you think you can go a lot faster than you can, basically, before you get down to turn 10, the Singapore Sling. You've got that long straight after turn.
Yes. Yeah, I know the one. Yeah, bounced off the left-hand barrier there many times.
Yeah, it's just one of those where you think, oh, I can really put my foot down, but actually you can't.
Damien's looking to improve his lap, by the way. He's on a 26.5 opening sector.
No.
That's a 10th off of Baz.
So Sander Herman's coming around now. This isn't going to be any faster. In fact, I think he's probably going to jump out on this one. Yeah, he's into the pits, and I think looks like Sander Hermans will be starting at the P9.
Eddie, Baz de Breen's just gone under a 36.0.
Oh
We've
my
seen him do
goodness me, 35.964 from Baz de Breen. What a fantastic result there for Baz de Breen. Look at that, amazing.
Proving a point there, I think, wasn't he?
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely.
I don't think anyone was going to beat him. Yeah, that's really, really good stuff. But, we've seen him get many a pole position in the past. And in fairness, probably should not have counted them out absolutely for the pole position here. Well done, Baz.
Great job there at this moment. So we still do have a number of cars out on track though, so it still could change. We'll stay on board with Baz at the moment until we get an update as to what's happening with the other guys.
Marcel Dronig, he's looking fast. This is an improvement on his lap at the moment. Oh, is he coming in? He's coming. I don't know why he's coming in. That was an improvement.
Well, clearly, he felt that there was something not quite right there.
And there's something happening in Sector 3 that I didn't see and is not showing on the telemetry. Very odd. Vanderbo P7.
Yeah, he's took that place from Marcel Dronig, so he's gone up to P7. So a good run from him. Zander Hermans will say 9. Mark Stapper's not set a time as yet. So it looks like
and he won't
be
now
P10.
Either. Damien Hartman's about to cross the line. He's gone purple in Sector 2. And it was 2 tenths off in the first sector. Has he done enough? Yes, he's done it. Look at the gap.
Look at that. Phenomenal. 1:35.935 takes 3 tenths, 3 hundredths?
3 hundredths of a second.
3 hundredths of a second between him and Baz de Breen. So Damien Hartman, at this moment in time, has that pole. I don't think that's going to change. No, that's it.
That is it. And you have to consider, poor Baz de Breen, nobody could blame him for assuming that he had done enough there with that 35.9.
Yeah, 964. Is it 964?
Yeah, 964. Yes.
9. Yeah, look at that. Fantastic job there. So Damien Hartman, P1, row 1, alongside him, Baz de Breen. Nicky Visser will be in row 2, alongside him, Jamie Collane for McLaren. Row 3, Guido Airshine, alongside him, John Donkel for Renault. Row 4, Hans van der Berg in P7, Marcel Dronig for Haas is P8. Row 5, Zander Hermans, P9, alongside him will be Mark Stappers in the Alfa Romeo. Well, that certainly wasn't, no sort of great surprise. Oh dear, I had another error come up there. Hopefully that's just a quick glitch there, but should be okay. Fantastic run there. Oh no, spectating. Let's have a look here. Spectate. Yep. Okay, so clearly having a few issues with the servers there at this moment in time, but we'll get underway with the processional lap. So Damien Hartman and Baz de Breen, this is going to be a real fight between these two. And, Jamie Collane up there as well. He's in the mix. He's got Nicky Visser alongside him, Guido Airshine and John Dunkel behind him. This is going to be a real test of Jamie's capability. He's delivered, certainly, as we've seen there, in the qualifying. But it's going to be a bit different here with the race. He's really going to have to be super focused, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, and that is the key: remaining focused and just not letting the the sort of glamour of being as high up as he is sort of get the better of him mentally, and just concentrate lap by lap, corner by corner, and if he can remain focused, then he's on course to score some good points. He has just messaged me actually saying he does love this track, and you can see that really.
Yeah, indeed, you certainly can. It's certainly reflected in what he's done here. So there you have Damien Hartman. He'll be starting P1, row 1. Alongside him will be Baz de Breen in the Renault in P2. Row 2 P3, Nicky Visser. And in the Mercedes alongside him, as we were commenting there, Jamie Collane in the McLaren. Then we have row 3. Oops, missed out one there. Guido Airshine. He'll be in P5. Alongside him will be John Donkel in the Renault. Row 4, we have Hans van der Berg. And alongside him will be Marcel Dronig in the Haas. Then we have Zander Hermans, row 5. Alongside him will be Mark Stappers in the Sauber. Then we have row 6, P11, Martin Parder-Cooper. And alongside him will be Peter Phillips. And then Seb Bogart is not in, unfortunately. So it doesn't look like he's not going to be able to rejoin the session. So again, Seb Bogart is out of this session, and this is going to make a big difference, isn't it, to the championship now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if Damien Hartman wins this, he'll go from being 14 points behind to 11 in front, and leading the championship for the second time this season.
Yeah, indeed. And Boy Williamson has come in, but he'll be starting in P16 or effectively P15 for some reason. I don't know why. They're showing Marco Pullen in there. And then that's it. So Boy Williamson will be bringing up the rear, so to speak.
Interesting to note both the McLarens starting on the soft tyre. Nicky Visser up in 3rd and Williamson in 16th.
Yeah. So the drivers are now getting ready for the start of this race. The lights are on. And they're off for the start of this Singapore Grand Prix Season 5. And this is F1 tonight. Daly takes the lead into there. Baz de Breen following closely behind there. Nicky Visser still in 3. Jamie Collane in 4. Guido Airshine now trying to get past Nicky Visser. Jamie Collane almost getting past Nicky Visser there, but not quite. Guido Airshine right on the gearbox here of Nicky Visser. And yes, I'm not too sure what's happening. Oh, that's
I think they're all the way clean.
Jamie Collane actually. Guido Airshine is on the gearbox there as well. So everyone through.
Dronic's past Sander Herman in the midfield.
Yeah, Peter Phillips is already up 2. Boy Williamson already up 5. So
he's
2
that's
places.
The thing with Boy.
He's up 3 actually.
He's brilliant on his starts. As Boy Williamson, we've seen it so many times.
Mark Stappers and Martin Parder-Cooper, they've come badly off there, down 2 places respectively, each one of them.
Yeah, and likewise, Mark Stappers and Parder-Cooper. Yeah, we've seen that on the opening lap.
Sorry, Adrian, but Nicky Visser has got major problems. He's dropped right down to P6. So he's lost 3 places. Hans van der Berg has just got ahead of him. Guido Airshine is now in P4, and Jamie Collane is in P3. Really battling it out at the moment with Guido Airshine. And you can see Hans van der Berg right close. Oh, and the van der Berg nearly goes into the back of Airshine. Definite contact. It manages to avoid him, but definite contact there. For some reason, Airshine just brake very heavily to turn 18 now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dive bomb actually from Hans. He went up the inside into the tunnel. Not a great place to overtake. I personally wouldn't do it myself. Barely enough room to get even one car.
Pits.
There's a few of them now. 5 cars in.
As well.
6
Jamie
cars
Collane is into the pits as well. So maybe contact there for Jamie Collane as well.
Yeah, I think there was. I saw a couple of cars bounce off the right-hand wall just before that incident. They sort of followed each other into the wall. Didn't look like they made contact with each other, but certainly enough damage off the wall to warrant a pit stop.
Right, so that has now mixed things up a bit. Let's have a quick run where we are. Lap 2, Damien Hartman still leads the way for Ferrari. Baz de Breen is second behind him in the Renault. Nicky Visser, well, he's going to be glad of small mercies, isn't he? He's got back up into that P3 position.
Yeah, he must be counting his blessings there. still got to defend against Donkel, who is
Yeah.
right behind him, and is actually on the hyper soft tyre. So as long as Nicky can keep him behind him for 3 or 4 laps, Nicky should start to find that he has got the advantage again.
It's going to be tough going. I mean, he's got to be running less downforce on that Mercedes because he pulled away from that Renault out of 13, right, unbelievably. And any sort of straight, you can see the power that he's laying down there. John Donkel staying behind him at this moment in time, but John's advantage is really going to be, well, where he is now, but maybe next lap, that final sector, that's where that Mercedes could suffer a bit on those turns. Or maybe actually through, sector 2 is a good opportunity for him, I suppose, as well.
Yep, could well be. I think he might make a move on the DRS out of turn 3. Yeah. If he can get close enough.
Well,
although Nicky's got bundles of ERS to defend with, so I think it's Nicky's position to lose.
Behind him now as he's coming round. This is where you've got it now.
Well, Williamson's out. And Ershine's out.
Oh my goodness!
The contact between the two?
Don't know. I'm just riding on board with Peter Phillips. He should be coming round. I think that was round, may have been verbatim of sector 3. We saw, there it is. Guido Ershine and Boy Williamson there, both on the right side. And I had a sneaky suspicion it might be there because we saw Ershine brake quite heavily into that turn. And if you're following closely behind, you think you're going to go a lot faster. And I think there may be a collision. A bit of a similar situation to Zander Hermans in the previous laps.
Yes, that's good analysis. Yeah, it's a real shame there. Guido Ershine, he's not had very much luck at all, really, this whole season. He's quite far behind where you'd like to sort of position him in a way, indeed he'd position himself. Yeah,
well, going by that table, saying, 27 points adrift or down from where he was in the same race this time in season 4, so last season. So it reflects it's not really been a great season for him, this one. He's done some great performances, and certainly in the qualifying, but it's just not come together in the races, and it's been a combination of bad luck and bad calls, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I blame the Force India, personally. Who's doing all right at Renault, and then moved to Force India, and it all goes to pot. But Marcel Dronig, actually, in the Haas, has joined the battle for P3 now. So you've got Visser, Donkel and Dronig.
Yeah, they're all lying astern here. And let's have a quick in-car view. You can see Marcel Dronig only 8/10 off the back of John Donkel. John Donkel only 7/10 off the back of Nicky Visser. And then we've got that gap from Nicky Visser to Baz de Breen, which is 11 seconds. 4 laps. That's quite a gap. Okay, we had those contacts, obviously. Some drivers come in, maybe some drivers slowed down. We saw Nicky Visser drop down quite a number of places, let's say, out of position there. But that's a big gap, isn't it, to those front leaders? Or by, we're only coming on to lap 4.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Stappers has gone up the slip road in sector 2 somewhere, P8.
Yeah,
he's another driver. I think this might be one of his bogey tracks for him. Yeah, he didn't do so well in qualifying. Didn't actually set a lap in Q3.
And this is the first. God, I'm just trying to think. This is the second of the nighttime races in the season, isn't it?
I think so. What's the other one?
Second, or was it the first? Abu Dhabi.
I can't remember. Oh, Abu Dhabi, of course it is. I should know, I was there.
You should know, Adrian, seriously, honestly. Adrian's dad never ever get him a ticket to an F1 again.
Well, it's funny you say that because he just bought me a ticket to Monaco next season.
No!
Yes.
No!
I wasn't going to mention that, but seeing as you've just brought it up.
That's just not right. Is he open for adoption or adopting anyone by any chance?
Probably.
Yeah. Tell him if he wants to adopt me. I'm very good. I pay my own way, but not for that.
Oh, sure it is.
Tell him I'll cook him some wicked meals.
I'll let him know.
So I'm really gutted by that. I wish you hadn't told me that now.
Sorry.
Don't worry.
Not really. Not
I'll
really.
be there.
Sorry.
I'll be there. I'll be there. No, I wouldn't want to go to Monaco anyway.
Not classy enough.
No, it's all that riffraff on them yachts. No, I don't like them.
Just getting back to the the race, Eddie.
Oh, I suppose we ought to really.
We should do really. Yeah, John Donker was in mode 5 on his ERS for 4 consecutive laps actually since the start of the race, and Dronig has used his battery saving skills to actually make the move under the DRS and ERS.
You can see there for the battery, if you look at the blue bar, you can see on Dronig's steering wheel, and then compare that to John Donker's, you can see what Adrian is talking about there. And he is replenishing at this moment in time, John Donker, so he's looking to try and make a comeback on that. But to be fair, he's 2.3 seconds away from Marcel Dronig now. And he's also got Martin Paardenkoper somewhat progressively bearing down on him, isn't he? On those ultra softs as well. I mean, as you said, those hyper softs, very small window of operation, isn't there? And then once they go, they really do go.
Yeah, and they're sort of that bit extra sensitive to the temperature as well. It's a smaller operating window for the Hypersoft, and it just doesn't last very long. And that's what we're seeing now is that while John is saving up his battery, so he's losing a little bit of time there per lap. He's also losing time because his tyres are becoming exhausted.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just saw Jamie Collane actually picking up a 3-second time penalty. So Jamie now down in P9, and he's going to be frustrated, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. But one thing that he needs to be telling himself at the moment is that he has the pace. He loves this track, and as long as he can drive hard and keep it in one piece, I think some good points are still on offer here, and it absolutely should not give up.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing that certainly is very, very true. And I've seen quite a number of races now is never, ever give up. I think Lewis Hamilton said it once as well. You know, you never give up. You never give in. You keep going because you just never know what's going to happen ahead of you. And we've already seen Boy Williamson and Guido Airshine go out. Major surprise there from those two. And certainly from Boy, because I think Boy was on for some good points today.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was so much fight at the start of the race. John Donker, unsurprisingly, the first man to pit for tyres.
Yeah, John Donker
front wing
into the pits.
Only completed 7 laps. No, completed 6 laps. This is lap 7.
And actually, I don't know if Jamie Collane's going to be able to get out ahead of him. He's only just coming round turn 22 now.
I think he will.
Yeah,
he will. Yeah, it's going to be tight.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close. You can see John Donker just there on the left, coming out of the pit lane, and very close. But I think Jamie, bit of a fight going on here. But Jamie just gets
Jamie's
ahead
got the
of him.
advantage. His tyres are nice and warm. Obviously, been running for a few laps.
John Donker has now got DRS on him, but not able to substantially close that gap down, is he? He's pretty much maintaining it now. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare through this sector 2 now.
Yeah, one flaw of John's, I touched on it a moment ago. One flaw that I have noticed is that he tends to, when he's in this position that we see him in now, where he's fighting for a position, he seems to just stick it in mode 5 and attack. And that, to me, is a little bit of a downfall of his, because it's actually hurting hurting his lap times by doing that. He needs to just save up a bit of energy, then use it, and he will find himself a bit bigger advantage down the straights, and he'll be able to just have a bit of an easier life.
It's a bit of an all or nothing situation, isn't it? It's on or off, and on it's all the way on, off it's completely off, and that's it. You're replenishing.
Yeah, it's like it's trying to sprint a marathon. You know, you could perhaps sprint for half a mile, but if you keep trying to sprint, you're just going to exhaust yourself. You just need to sort of take a bit of a breather, save up a bit of energy, and then and then pace yourself after that.
Well, he's certainly looking to try and close down and take that place back. Obviously, it is important that he does do that on track because Jamie is on that harder compound tyre. So let's have a quick look at that. So as we can see, Jamie Klein is on the soft and John Donkel is on the ultra soft. So it is quite important that John does get past him on track, isn't it?
Yeah, he's pretty committed to that. As soon as he's opted for the ultra soft tyre. Could have given himself possibly an easier life by going onto the soft tyre and managing his own pace and not worrying about sort of other drivers, and
I've got
then
to say,
in the final stint, and then go for the attacks.
I've got to say that is one thing about Singapore is that it's a bit of a, how can I put it, a misleading track because you'd think that the hyper softs, maybe not the hyper softs, but certainly the ultra softs would be the way to go on a street circuit with the corners, etc., so on and so forth. But in reality, it's actually quite a long street circuit. Not the longest, obviously, but it is deceptive, isn't it? You really do. The times are deceptive as well because it really does boil so much down to the tyres and how deep you can actually go in your stints.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned it right there. You know, Singapore is a long circuit. I think this is sixth or seventh longest in distance, but it's actually the second longest in lap time.
Yeah.
With Spa being the longest on both.
Longest, yeah.
But yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, when you've got clean air in front of you, the ultra soft tyre is absolutely the optimal tyre in my opinion. But what John's done for himself by sort of pitting onto the ultra soft here, he's now sort of found himself in this bit of traffic, and he's having to deal with that. Rather than if he was on the soft tyre, he could sit back at perhaps a little bit from Jamie, but just manage his own pace and manage his tyres that much better. But he's now forced himself to make the overtake at some point during this stint.
Yeah, he's definitely got to do it now. I'm just going to bear with me 1 second because I'm just going to see find quickly showing it.
Damien so 5.5 seconds ahead of Green, currently P1 and P2. That gap has sort of leveled itself out. It was it rapidly increased up to about 4 seconds, and then it's just kind of it's just peaked. I think that is a result again of both of these drivers managing their ERS, their tyres, their fuel, and they're just pacing themselves for the rest of this race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're both on the ultra softs, both on equal set of tyres there. And you're right, they are very much pacing themselves. And I think they're probably very much aware of Nicky Visser as well. I mean, he's down in third place. He is 16 seconds behind, but he is on those softs. So he will be able to go deeper into this race. Now, that gap's now 17 seconds to Baz de Breen and 22.5 seconds to Damie Hartman. And I would suspect that that's probably what we're going to be looking at on the pit stop here for this track. It is quite a fast entry, reasonable exit. So what are you looking at? Maybe what, 20 seconds?
I think it's I think it's about 21 seconds or so. We'll try and work it out actually when the next drivers do pit, but something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Hartman and Green will both be conscious that Nicky is in third, and he's got the advantage of being on that soft tyre. Although, having said that, he did do 5 laps in Q2 on that tyre, so that advantage maybe isn't as big. I don't know if those two drivers ahead of him would be aware of that, but they're certainly aware of the tyre that he's on.
Well, it's all a question of what Jeff is going to be telling them, but I would suspect that Jeff will let them know that Nicky is in that third place and that he is on a set of soft. So I think he's he's certainly within the danger zone for Baz the Breen. Maybe not so for Damien Hart, but certainly for Baz the Breen at this moment in time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, to be fair, I think Hartman will still have his eye on Mickey. You know, just in case. You know, it's a bit like the real life Mercedes, covering all their bases, always wary of drivers and teams that are, you know, on paper significantly slower than they are, but they're still aware that it's a possibility that they could pass them. So yeah, they need to cover strategies and things just to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just going to quickly go back here. Obviously, we can see the Ultrasoft runners in 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. That's Marcel Droney, Martin Parder-Cooper, Miguel Torney. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see with those, because Jamie Collane at this moment in time is, well, 5 seconds off Miguel Torney. So he's certainly on the books to take that P6 from Miguel Torney. Bit more of a challenge then to Martin Parder-Cooper, because we've got a gap of 24 seconds, but it will give him the opportunity to close down a little bit more to the front runners in that top 5, won't it?
Yeah, I have to say, you know, I keep picking up Jamie, you know, not just because he's new, but he's a decent guy as well, but his pace on these soft tyres is pretty good. He appears to be matching. Let's have a look what his lap times are like. 45.7. So yeah, I mean, he's a couple of tenths off of Marcel Dronic's time. He's on the Ultrasofts. And, you know, bearing in mind he's also having to defend against Donkel, who must be getting more and more frustrated each lap. Donkel's actually taken our advice. Actually, he's saved up these boys at 100% ERS, so I don't know if he's actually listening to this stream. I presume he must be.
I think he was actually replenishing it beforehand, but that said, he's going to have to do that. He needs that ERS to get past this McLaren, because that McLaren is just not giving him any opportunities. Jamie really maintaining that line, sticking to it, and not giving John the opportunity.
Yeah, and the fact that John is still behind Jamie, well, the longer he stays here, then it's just really destroying John's strategy. There we go, Mo 5 now. He's going to try to make the move on the DRS. Needs a good exit out there.
Oh, and he makes contact with the barrier on the left-hand side there.
Yeah, I think he got away with that, just wheel to wall. And there we go, and it was easy.
Yeah,
that's what he should have done about 5 laps ago. Should have done that 5 laps ago.
But now he's got to maintain it.
Yes, yeah. Jamie saving his ERS. He's not racing John. That is a good call in my book.
Well, you could argue ultimately he doesn't really need to. Although that said, I'm not too sure what the lifespan is for the Ultrasoft in relation to the soft, but I would expect that the soft should be around about double or thereabouts.
Yeah, it's difficult for me because I obviously don't do 100% races myself, but yeah, it's gonna be something like that. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the most significant thing is that Jamie does seem to be still able to match the pace of the Ultrasoft tyre on this soft tyre, which makes me wonder actually if he's going to go for another soft stint and then run to the end. So try and do perhaps another 20 laps on these. It's a 3-second penalty, cut the last corner.
He's actually got another one preceding that, so he does have 6 seconds worth of penalties at this moment in time.
Okay, all right. There's some traffic ahead of him now.
Well, John Donkel is actually bearing down on Miguel Torney in the Red Bull. So that has somewhat slowed him down. He will have obviously DRS out of that turn 4. Sorry, that turn 5.
Bit of a scrape there between the McLaren.
It was, and Miguel Torney's coming back. He's not having any of it. So John Donkel pretty much pushing his way past Torney, but Torney not really having it. He wants to try and see if he can make the move down into that Singapore Sling turn 10. I love that. I said, what a name for a corner.
Sling. It's lovely.
Coming down over the bridge into 13 now, but I don't think Miguel Tawney's got the legs to catch up with John Donkel, and he's now got Jamie Collane rapidly bearing down on him. I think it'd be interesting to see.
This is in the pit. Mercedes is in the pit.
So he's done what?
And he was on the softs.
He was on the softs, wasn't he? And that's only 14 laps.
Yeah, but he did do 5 in Q2.
19.
Yeah, and importantly, he's had to pit before the drivers ahead of him. That's not what he wanted. That was not what he was planning.
Or is it? I mean, what's he going on to? He's gone on to the ultra softs.
Yeah.
Is he looking to put in a quick stint now and then finish up on the softs? I think that's what he's looking at, you know.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, he would have definitely liked to have done more laps on those soft tyres, though.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he would have done, but I think he's gone for a strategy change here.
Oh yeah, this is definitely Plan B, and yeah, it might work. It might get away with this.
Only time will tell. I mean, this is the difficulty here now with this track as we start to see, and let's go through this field because you start to see a spread on the field there. Damie Hartman, he's still in that P1 position, just overtaking the back marker there of Peter. I think that was Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So
he's only 11 seconds ahead. Sorry,
yeah.
He's putting some 43 zeros, 2 seconds faster on that than Baz.
Well, he was building it up. I could see it was 5 seconds, then it went to 6 seconds. But now, as you quite rightly say, that gap is now 11 seconds to Baz de Breen. And, well, that is quite something to say the least. So Baz de Breen is in second in the Renault. Marcel Dronig in the Haas is coming into the pits. He was in P3. That will release Martin Paardekoper up into that P3 position. And he's 39, nearly 40 seconds behind race leader Damie Hartman, but 28 seconds behind Baz de Breen. Marcel Dronig in the pits, as we say. Nicky Visser is coming round now, and he should take that 4th place from Marcel Dronig. Marcel Dronig coming out of the pits now. Nicky Visser coming around turn 1. It's going to be another one. It's going to be like John Club, but no, it's a bigger gap. So Nicky Visser does take that 4th place. Marcel Dronig is in 5th. John Donkel is down in 6th at this moment in time. Miguel Tawney for Red Bull. Good race so far from Miguel, got to say. Hasn't had a fantastic season, but this one's panning out to be not too bad today. He's in P7. Jamie Collane is now in P8. And Mark Stappers in the Sauber. We haven't seen Mark Stappers this evening, but he's down in P9. Zander Hermans is in P10, and Zander's really not. He's not liking this track. Definitely not to be in that position this season. Hans van der Berg is probably ruining the fact that he said, yes, I will compete in this race. Believe me, I'm a dad twice over, and the first 48 hours are undoubtedly the worst. I'd be very surprised if Hans has slept at all. So to be doing this, I think he's regretting it, probably. I think he's regretting it.
Yeah, the last thing you want is to actually finish 11th and score no points for
exactly.
2 hours of racing.
That's definitely it. He wants to get certainly into at least those 10. And Peter Phillips, again, and Peter's gone into the barrier coming around turn 9. And that's what I was saying, that turn 9 is so deceptive. You really believe, and you can do it at high speed, but you've got to really hit that curb on the left as you're coming into turn 9 out of 8. Not out of 8. Well, yeah, out of 8 effectively. They're coming round, but he definitely made contact there. And he's got some front wing damage, and Peter Phillips again,
right,
bogey.
Sorry. It's a bogey track. I was about to say, Eddie, sorry to interrupt you here.
Please.
To get that right, that section, you've just got to have total trust in not just your abilities, but the setup of your car, and it's just everything's just got to feel right for you to be able to maximise your speeds through the apexes of those corners. Yeah,
I liken it somewhat to turn 7 at the Hungaro ring. You know, that leap of faith. It is pretty much like that, really. Although obviously on a flatter plane.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't know if you spotted a moment ago. Actually, Nicky Vista is really flying now. He's on just did a 1:42.1. He's the fastest man out of that. It's the fastest lap of the race. Some 2 seconds faster than Damien Harmon.
Yeah, that's pretty good going. He is definitely laying down the power now, and this is what he was saying when he went onto those ultra softs. And this is what he was looking to do. He's looking to try and close these gaps down as much as he can to give himself a fighting chance. And I think he's going to go back onto those softs. But, I mean, I'm wondering if he's not going to do a double stint here on these ultras.
You could do, so it's definitely a possibility. My money's on the softs, I think. I think he'll do 10 or 12 laps on these and then try to eke out the rest of the race on the softs. They want 15 laps on the ultras.
So I'm just checking something in the menus here. So,
no, he's 3 guys all yet to pit. Of course, they've all done 16 laps on these ultra softs with no real signs of letting up. Actually, can't see too much wear on them. No real blistering. A little bit on the part of
I'd expect them to go into the high teens, maybe the low 20s, and that's what I'm thinking. You know, those softs I would expect to go round about sort of high 20s, low 30s, or thereabouts. That's what I'm sort of envisaging. That's not to say it's right, obviously, but I would suspect that those front leaders on those ultra softs are going to have to be coming in probably within the next 3 to 5 laps, maybe. Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Obviously, time will tell whether they do or do not. We are on board at this moment in time with Nicky Vista, and he's really charging through. He's definitely looking to, while he's got this clear, and it's a great opportunity, isn't it? Because he's got clear air. He can really take full advantage of it.
Yeah, that is a huge advantage on this circuit, well, on pretty much any circuit. Is if you're able to get all that clean air, you can really start to you can maximise your downforce, can't you?
He's got that fastest lap, 1:42.0.
Yeah, he's just got it now.
And he's got past Parda Cooper, who's Dronig. Was it Parda Cooper that was in the pits? Because he's now gone up to P3. Yeah, so that's Parda Cooper come into the pits. It's put Visser now up into P3, but Dronig, I thought Dronig was ahead of him.
Dronig, if you remember, was behind him before both of those drivers pitted. Nicky was P3, and he's remained P3, albeit some 7 seconds down the road now from Dronig. He's definitely opened up that gap during that pit stop. Yep,
and Parda Cooper is in P5, and I've got to say, good race so far from Parda Cooper. P5. Yep. He's gone on to those nice fresh set of ultra softs there. It's not looking too shabby. I just want to see position change. Yeah, 6 places he's gone up, and Marcel Dronig 4 as well. So both those drivers there in P4 and P5 respectively, they've really had a good race so far.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about Parda Cooper's form, weren't we, in previous races? How he's just not doing as well this season as he was last season. This track, though, this race, is going completely differently for him. This is the Parda Cooper we saw of last season.
Definitely
coming back, and hopefully this is the sort of turning point for him and his season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were referring to this only last week, and I think also the preceding week. You know, he is a man that can deliver so much more, and we were expecting. I think we both agreed he's going to have to deliver for the close of this season and to show his true colours, and he is doing exactly that here this evening at Singapore.
Yeah. This is really important for him. Just to turn his season around. This is the kind of performance he needed.
Yeah, definitely, and he's definitely starting to close down now towards Marcel Dronig. I think he's taken about 5/10 out of him on the previous lap. So he's definitely looking to take advantage, and he's following more or less the tack that we see Nicky Visser doing. He's sort of 4 laps older tyres ahead of him. He does seem to be paying dividends. This strategy.
Yeah, it seems to be working for him. Baz de Breen's come in. I don't know if you spotted that. He's on the soft tyre.
He's gone onto the softs.
Some 40 seconds behind Hartman now. Hartman losing a bit of pace. Not too much though. I don't know what his tyre wear is like. I think he must be managing it exceptionally well. He's just done consistently quick laps, and he's still managing to do that. Last that was a 44.5. Yeah, I mean, same sort of lap as Van der Berg on his 16 lap of softs.
Well, I was about to
but
say,
it's enough
Hans
maintain
Van der
the gap.
Berg is the man that's actually behind Damie Hartman at this moment in time on track, and it gives a good measure of the pace that Damie does have. He's on 19 lap old ultra softs, and Hans is on 16 lap old softs. But this is going to start to pay dividends for him soon.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no real sort of graining or blistering of the tyres as far as I can see on that Ferrari.
No, there's definite wear on certainly the inside
having
of the
said
tyres.
that,
Yeah, he's in.
So
Damie Hartman comes into the pits now. Baz de Breen is just coming round now to those final sets of corners in sector 3. So Damie's going to be clearly out ahead of him. Yeah, he comes out now.
5 seconds stop go. So 5 seconds stop go for Miguel Torney.
Speeding in the pit lane. Yeah. Damie Hartman coming out on track now as Baz de Breen comes round turn 21.
Yes, visual representation of the difference between them now.
Yeah, and you can see that quite clear. I mean, 21 seconds, 14 seconds, as I say, I didn't think it was 21. 14 seconds, the gap now between, or 13 and a half as it stands. Nicky Visser, though, is really closed down now to Baz de Breen. 9.7 seconds off, and that ultra soft stint is really paying for him, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, just pushing really hard during this this stint, which is a totally viable strategy. Just get as much as you can out of these tyres, but then like you said, that might open him up for the double ultra soft stint, and then onto the softs at the end, so it'll be a 3-stop effectively.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is possible. I'm just looking at it now. He's on 7 lap old ultra soft. I'd expect him to probably not go much deeper than 15 and 16 laps, the way he's pushing these tyres as well. So that said, he's going to be coming in round about lap 36. So that will still leave him with 35 laps. He could go on to the softs, but I've got a sneaking suspicion. Well, I mean, there's a number of ways that you could go. I personally think he is going to go for another super soft run, but he certainly could go on to the softs. I think there's no two ways about it. It's a bit of an open one for me at this moment.
Well, perhaps I can shed a little bit of light. I've got some inside information on Nicky Visser's car, actually. I can tell you his exact tyre wear. But just Nicky Visser's, nobody else's at this moment. So he's at, I'd say, an average 14% wear, and he's done 7 laps on these tyres. So you could pretty safely say he's wearing about 2% per lap.
So that would suggest that he can probably go deeper on these.
Yeah, I think you can do.
Oh, he's a little bit
sideways there.
Sideways, a little bit of. Oh God, I can remember the name of it now. Drifting, sorry, it went from me completely there. Bit of drift, bit of F1 Mercedes drift. Oh,
I mean, you started to drift yourself, did you?
I drifted off. I think I drifted off. That's what happened to me. I was definitely on a drift there. I was drifting off to thinking, 2019, do I put it on my debit or on my credit cards? Still haven't ordered
No
it.
brainer, innit?
Still haven't ordered it.
You need get on it.
I know. It's a pre-order. I've got time. It's not as if you get any extra bonuses for it.
No.
So we are exactly, or just over exactly, 1/3 of the way through this race. We are here, as you can see, at the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore. A truly iconic track and race during the F1 calendar. And we are at this moment in time with Nicky Visser, but it could still be anyone's. Anything can happen. Damie Hartman leads the way. He is a full 16 seconds ahead of Baz de Breen in the Renault, who's currently P2. Nicky Visser, who with there, is currently in P3, charging through the field, looking to see if he can better that potential podium finish that he has now. Marcel Dronig in the Haas, though. He's not going to be hanging around. He wants that as well. He needs those points. He's currently in P4. Martin Parder-Cooper, the revived, revitalised, reborn Martin Parder-Cooper here at Singapore. He's showing what he can deliver, and he certainly is there in that P5 position. John Donkel for Renault is in P6. Mark Stappers for Sauber, P7. Hans van der Berg, the new father. I think he's a bit of a sadist, actually, to be doing this race 48 hours after his child is born. But still, I'm not going to knock the man. He's now in the points, firmly in that P8 position. Zander Hermans in the Toro Rosso, not his track. I don't think he's too comfortable here. Let's put it like that. He's in P9. Jamie Collane delivered fantastically during the qualifying. Fantastic race start, but he just wasn't able to maintain it. Had to come in. New nose, new tyres, and he finds himself down in P10. Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso. He's just gone into the barrier. Oh dear. Has he DNF'd? Yes, he has. So yes. Peter Phillips decided that he did not want to go round the corner of turn 20 and instead obviously doesn't like DHL, so that's saying something, I suppose. Decided to go into the barrier at full speed. So unfortunately Peter Phillips is out.
I mean, that's what they call sticking it to the man.
Well, I was just like, that was not... there's at least a 3 to 5 second delay between my broadcast and anyone potentially seeing this on YouTube. And I can assure you that was not commentator's curse. Well, actually, it might have been.
It may.
It could have been. Who knows? So,
unfortunate.
Some DNFs here. Peter Phillips becomes the third after Guido Ehrschein and Boy Williamson. That leaves us with 11 drivers. 10 place points are here. So at this moment in time, Miguel Torni, he's the man that's going to be sweating, stuck to his race seat, and very sweaty palms after 2 hours. He's going to want some points. He doesn't want to stay down in that P11 position. Jamie Collane ahead of him, P10. And you can see, I mean, this is not unusual for these sort of street circuits, and especially for Singapore. You do start to see quite a separation of the field, and it's a real reflection of the, dare I say it, the strategies, really.
Yes. Yeah, it can make such a huge difference, your strategy, because, regardless of your pace, if all drivers were exactly the same pace, you can you can, of course, win a race on strategy alone. Talking of strategies, Damien Hartman obviously going for the ultra soft in comparison to his rival de Breen on the soft. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's opened that gap up to nearly 20 seconds now, so he's coming up to a full pit stop ahead.
I mean, that is an inspired call, isn't it? Really. I mean, very often what you tend to see is drivers will duplicate their opponent's tyre choice to stay, especially when you've got a gap. But Damie's decided to go that little bit on the edge, hasn't he? He's gone for the ultra soft to really charge through and open up that gap. And all he needs is another, 3-4 seconds during this stint to really seal the deal, because he's then got a pit stop in hand.
Yeah, like you say, you normally see a driver opting for a different strategy to another one when they are behind them, and they don't want to have to pass them on track, so they try to do it with the pit stops,
Indeed.
With the undercut, the overcut, whatever. Damie, on the other hand, has done kind of the opposite of that, and he's gone for a different strategy. Baz pitting first onto the softs, and he's opted for the ultra soft, which seemed to have worked wonders for him.
Well, it certainly paid dividends for Nicky Visser, and thank you for that correction, Adrian. As you quite rightly said there, Damie was actually ahead of Baz and normally, as you quite rightly say, you go for that. If you're behind, then it's different. He's made that call as if he was actually behind Baz so to speak, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I think it's going to work. I think even if he does have to stop again, he'll be far enough ahead. Well, he will have to stop again, but he'll be far enough ahead to take the pressure off, and change his tyres. He'll go on to the he'll have options, won't he? He could go on to the
options.
soft.
He could go on to another set of ultra softs potentially, couldn't he?
Oh, he could go on to ultra softs, yeah. Yeah,
so
I think he'll probably play it safe. I think he'll play it safe, go on to the softs, because by that point, De Bruyne's tyres will have already done 20 laps maybe, and even if Hartmann's on the softs as well, on the same tyre, he will have an advantage because they won't be as worn out.
Yeah, that is a good call, and that's certainly it's very likely what we are actually seeing. I've got to say though, I just want to quickly pan down now to Nicky Visser. He's doing okay there. He's got that gap down to 7 seconds. It's not looking too bad for him at this moment in time. It's looking quite a solid P3, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely think he'll get on the podium. It seems like that ultra soft tyre just really does work well on this track, as as I kind of assumed it would. I've done it in career as well. It just seems to have both the longevity and the pace.
Yeah. Well, it's got the, let's put it like this: it's got the right window to make it work for the circuit, because it all it's all about the circuit itself. I know that sounds a bit obvious, but you can't necessarily use the same strategy for street circuits, so to speak.
No.
And this one is one of those.
Right, yeah.
It's quite different from other circuits, other street circuits in that context.
Yeah, I mean, each circuit has its own character, and each driver has their own drive style. And a driver may, consciously or subconsciously drive in a completely different manner on a different circuit, without necessarily realizing he's doing it. And for that reason, you can't just do the same strategy every time. It just doesn't work. Even on the same circuit, you try and do the same thing again, it may not pan out the same way, because you may not have driven the car in the same way.
Well, this is what I was going to say as well. You can say, well, why don't you look at your previous season or see what the winner did there? But it just doesn't work that way, because the conditions can change. I mean,
it really doesn't.
Singapore is one of those tracks we did obviously see a bit of wet quality in Q1, and it is one of those tracks where the heavens can open up. It's not unknown for it to rain, and rain heavily here.
Yeah, I'm sure Singapore's experienced tsunami or monsoons and things, in its time.
Yeah. And it's quite a common factor when you come to the Far Eastern tracks, as opposed to, well, probably,
yes.
China, Japan, Singapore.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
They are ones where you do expect, there's every likelihood of rain.
Yes, absolutely. Doggle's come into the pit. He's now on the ultra soft tyre as well. Again, I'm sure he's watching this because as soon as we start talking about something, he goes and does it, whether it's the ZRS or the optimum tyre. Oh, that's a good idea.
He's got the inside line there. We're giving him the inside line, so to speak. Yeah, but John Donk, as you rightly say, yeah, he's gone on to those ultra softs. He's 4 seconds at the moment off Sander Hermans. Every likelihood he's going to close that gap down and take that P8 position at this moment in time, I think. Well, that said, it's Sander Hermans, and this is a revitalised season 5 Sander Hermans. We've seen him battling it out with John Donkel before, and in similar situation on different compounds of tyre, and he's held his own, isn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, big time. You know what? And to be fair, both Toro Rosso drivers have impressed me this season. You know, the sort of real life Toro Rosso is known for sort of developing sort of young drivers, young talent, and then they go on to sort of bigger things. I think that's exactly what we're actually seeing here with Sander Herman and Peter Phillips. Appreciate Peter Phillips has crashed out just a few laps ago, but yeah they have certainly impressed me in their performances.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've done a fantastic job. And as I said, although this isn't the track for Sander Hermans, it's, he's making the most of it. He's in the points. But as I say, I don't think he's going to make John Donkel's life easy once John gets on the back of him.
No, that's right. Yeah, I mean, John's doing all he can to sort of catch up to the back of Sanders with his engine cranked all the way up. I wonder if he'll remember to just sort of tone it back down to give him a chance to actually overtake. It's one thing catching a driver, it's another thing getting past.
Hang on, what have we got? About a 5-second delay, so let's have a think about this. He's just coming around Singapore Sling.
You just like saying that, don't you?
I do, I just love it. I've got to say it. Okay, so John, you're now in sector 3. Turn it up or turn it down, whichever way it is.
Yeah, down. He's got nothing left in it.
He's got nothing left in there at this moment in time. So he's going to have to do certainly something on that side. Because at the moment, Sander Hermans is maintaining that gap. He's sitting around about the 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's because Sander has got energy in the car. You know, I mentioned it, a few races and a few times. ERS mode 5, when you've actually got power, when you've got energy to use, that gives you another 160 brake horsepower. Compared to mode 0 or a depleted battery.
Yeah.
So, Vandenberg was off track. Vandenberg looked like he'd spun turn 1.
He did.
He just rejoined ahead of.
He just rejoined. He just caught that there. Just rejoined. It was close because I thought Sander Hermans was going to go into him there.
Yeah, not sure what happened there to Hans.
Well, I think lack of concentration, which is, to be fair, hardly surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can't fault him for that, absolutely.
Circumstances are, I'm not surprised by that if he had a lapse in concentration. I mean, we are halfway through this race. So he's had a good, hour and a half at least of driving, an hour of racing. So he's going to be feeling it. Hans, I know you do watch the stream and you watch it back. All I can say is you're obviously a sadist, and if you're not, you need to find the nearest sadistic club to join. Let's give him
John Donkel approaching them rapidly.
Let's actually give him something momentous to record there as he's coming round the final turns. Sector 3, round turn 21 into 22 now, launches out the 23, 7th place for Hans Vandenberg on the celebration of the birth of his little girl there, so congratulations Hans once again. I shouldn't say Hans, it should be Hans, sorry. Hans van der Berg. Got to remember, it's Dutch, not German. But yeah, I mean, great addition certainly to the season. But he's got Zander Hermans making a move on him now. Oh, goes deep. Look at that. That was a real move there. Gotta say, from Zander Hermans into turn 7, wasn't it?
And that comes back to what I was saying earlier on about Zander's confidence in his overtakes. You know, we wouldn't have seen that from him last season. Absolutely not.
Definitely not. I mean, he saw an opportunity there with Hans van der Berg pretty much leaving the door. Well, it was a bit like a barn door wide open there, wasn't it? I mean, you would be tempted, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would be. Yeah, he would be. But Hans has proven in the past that he can defend very well. He is not the easiest driver to overtake by any means.
No, but I think in his depleted condition this evening, he's probably a little bit easier. And I just don't think he saw that coming. I mean, Zander was on his tail, but now this is put a different complexion because now John Dunkel has got to get past the somewhat more awake Hans van der Berg in that Williams. He's not going to make it as easy, I think, for John as Zander got it. So this is going to be interesting now because this really is playing very much into Zander's hands, and unfortunately making John rue maybe that decision to come in for those ultra softs.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for John because when he pitted the first time, he come out behind Jamie Culhane.
Yeah.
And and he was so he was on the ultra softs himself, and Jamie was on the soft tyre. And we're seeing that again. He's on the ultra soft himself, and he's behind someone on the soft tyre on a exceptionally worn soft tyre as well. 28 laps he's done on those, so he'd be even slower comparatively than what Jamie was. Not that Jamie was even slow by any means.
Well, this is it. I mean, not a great one. I think John is not. I mean, at this moment in time, he's obviously he's in the points, but I think he's going to be hard pushed to look at anything up by the podium at this moment.
Yeah, he's just made some sort of, I wouldn't say bad decisions, but he's just come out at the wrong times on the wrong times.
Yeah, I think he's made the right tire decisions. He's just made them at the wrong time.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
That's the thing. You look at Nicky now, and let's have a quick look here because now, obviously, Damie Hartman has come in, and he has gone onto Hypersofts.
He's on the Hypersofts.
Hypersofts.
I didn't see that coming. Absolutely did not see that coming.
Well, he's battling it out at the moment with Nicky Visser. And Nicky Visser is ahead of him, but not by much, as you can see. Hypersofts, I am... Maybe he had to go on to a different... Did he start on the Ultra Softs?
He did start on the Ultras, yes.
So that's what he's doing. He's doing a quick Hypersoft stint and then going back onto the Ultras because he's got that pit in hand, effectively.
Yeah, I'm just wondering now, because he's sat there behind Nicky with not much in the engine, this is an opportunity now for Nicky. If he can hold him off for just a few laps, these Hypersoft tyres won't last long. So yeah, I think this is an opportunity now for Nicky to hold up Damie and nab that P2 for himself.
Well, it is very, very close as they've gone. Oh dear!
Look how close that was.
Turn 7. I mean, this is really close. Coming now around turn 8. Oh, hang on, and he's got ahead of him.
Good.
Yes, he has.
Good move. He needed to do that.
Of Nicky Visser. He did need to do that, and he needed to do it on track. And that was a good move, wasn't it? As they were coming round turn 8.
Yeah, it's clean. Nicky just left that door just a little bit open, and Damie took that opportunity. Not much space to get two cars around there, and they managed to pull it off. Yeah, that's going to be a significant point in this race. I think that's he's dodged a bullet, Damie. There, personally, I wouldn't have even touched the Hypersoft tyre at all. I wonder if he had to. And look, and Vissy's just got a 3-second penalty.
3-second time penalty as well. Yeah,
saving grace there.
That's not going to help. And Jamie Culhane now is actually bearing down on the back of Nicky Visser's car. So he's on the softs, but he seems to be match. Oh, dearie me, bit of power drifting there from Jamie Culhane. Is Jamie, do you think, pushing that a little bit too hard now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, he's obviously
he's into the pits.
Made the call to come in.
He's done 16 laps on those softs, so
not too many laps. That's,
no, but he was definitely having issues. You can see him drifting there.
Yeah. Sometimes a pit stop can, positively affect your morale as well. You can sort of just refresh your mind as well as your tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm just look at this. Baz de Breen is leading, but Damie Hartman is now 1.2 seconds off the pack of Baz de Breen, and Baz is more than aware that Damie is now riding and taking in big gulps of his exhaust fumes.
I'm wondering, Eddie, if Damie is doing this for his own entertainment. Because he's forced himself to have to overtake Nicky Visser on track, and now de Breen. If he'd have gone on to any of the other tyres, he could have sat back and waited for their tyres to disintegrate.
I'll tell you what I think's happened. I think Nicky really wanted to go on to another set of ultra softs, and he was thinking that he might have a danger of having to come in and pit and go on to the hypersofts to finish. So what he's decided to do is actually flip that round, giving himself a better chance on those ultra softs for the closing stint of this race.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I would completely agree with that. Yeah, he saved himself that danger. He's given himself a little bit of a kind of a safety net by, as you say, flipping the strategy round, not having to finish on hypersofts that could easily just give up in the last couple of laps.
Yep, definitely. I think that's what he's looking at. Look at it, and he's making the move. Look, makes the move on that DRS.
Yes.
Before they get into turn 7. That was actually more or less round turn 6 on that DRS. I think that's actually one of the only DRS zones that's actually got a corner in it.
Yeah, there aren't too many.
No.
Right. What about Spa? Just after Eau Rouge. Oh, sorry, de Breen just bounced off that right-hand wall.
He did. Yeah, I didn't quite catch it, but I could see it. And he is really pushing now, de Breen. He realises that this is going to mean that he has to push now, and now is the time. He can't afford to. He's got to stay on the tail of Damie Hartman. There's no two ways about it. He needs to stay on him to make sure that he gets the advantage when Damie comes in and pits off those hypersofts.
Oh. Eddie, I think Damie's just been kicked from the session. It just said he's left the session. This is going to present an opportunity now to...
Yeah, he is. He's ghosted.
To Baz.
Damie Hartman is ghosted.
Oh dear, this is not good.
So
not only have we had the championship leader not able to participate in this race for a technical reason, we've now got the current race leader not able to defend again due to a technical glitch.
But I've got to say, maximum respect here. Baz de Breen is staying with him.
Damie's AI, it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. So I would have thought Baz would have been aware he was there, and I was wondering if he was just waiting for him to reconnect, giving him a little bit of breathing space. But then, okay, fair enough. I've given you enough time. Resolve your technical difficulties. Yeah. I'm going to overtake you now.
Nicky on the back of him as well. You have to expect him to make the move.
Yeah, as they're coming round Singapore Sling. Love it. Well, they're coming down now to turn 13, and I think this is where Nicky is going to make the move on Damie.
Turn 13, that's another one that gets me, that left-hand wall. Sometimes catch the rear left wheel on it.
Yeah,
Spencer's
you've
car.
really,
No damage normally, but
you've really got to hit that curb on the left-hand side as you go around 13. I've got to say, Damie Hartman's
yeah.
AI is rather good, isn't it?
Pretty defensive, yeah.
It's definitely not giving people the opportunity. And this is the other thing with F1 tonight. Although obviously Damie is out, his car is ghosted, but only semi is solid. So any drivers approaching it will have to take care. And you know, it is a genuine. Oh yes, look at that contact wheel to wheel there, but he gets past.
Yeah, no damage to either car from what I can tell.
No.
I can actually give you a damage report actually on this car.
Yeah, give me a damage report on Visser's car.
He has 0% damage. So
Well,
that
there
is
you
your
go.
damage report.
So no damage to Nicky Visser's car. So I mean, Damie's going to be gutted with this. Obviously, technical difficulties. We saw, you know, a complete power outage take Seb Bogart out. We've now got issues with Damie. He, if he hasn't already thrown the wheel across the room, he's going to be super agitated now as he tries to rejoin the session, isn't he, and try and get back in.
Yeah, he's gone from being at one point 20 seconds ahead of the Rin before pit stops, and now he is some 8-9 seconds behind him, and still has not returned to the race. I'm going to have a word with the admin stewards, see if they shed any light on the status.
Well, we'll see what's happened there. So Baz the Breen has now taken the lead of this Singapore Grand Prix. We are on lap 37 of 61, 24 laps remaining for this race. Nicky Visser for Mercedes is in second place. Damie Hartman is currently sitting in third. He's still not in the session, so not able to join yet. Marcel Dronig is in fourth. He's 22 seconds off the back of Damie Hartman. And if Damie doesn't manage to resolve those technical issues, then Marcel Dronig may well, and I think could well, have the opportunity to close down and possibly get a podium finish, which would be a great result, certainly for the Haas driver and for Haas themselves, especially as the current championship leader, Seb Bogart, is out of the race. I mean, these are important points that are on offer here, or potentially on offer for Haas, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, of course, Renault leading the championship, but not by too many points. Haas in second place. I think there's something like 10, 12 points behind them. So yeah, this is
13 points at the moment in the constructors between Haas and Renault. So these are very important points.
Yeah, so 10 points for 12 points for fourth place. Party Cooper pits.
Baz de Breen will obviously get higher points than finishing first, but he'll still keep that gap tight. Parder Cooper into the pits, has gone onto the softs to close this race. So 23 laps, certainly doable on those softs. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, actually. Although Parder Cooper is currently 45 seconds behind Dronig. And Sander Hermans has just pipped him on the exit. So Sander Hermans moves up into fifth place, just pips Parder Cooper. They're both on the softs, but Hermans should be able to stay ahead of him. Parder Cooper in sixth. Hans van der Berg, he's still there. He's moved up to seventh place. Obviously, we've had a number of drivers go out, but still, good result from him there. And John Dunkel, he's still stuck behind him, isn't he?
Yeah. Although he has saved up his ERS, so you know you expect him to, expect him to make the pass. All he needs is a decent exit, or a little bit slidey there from Hans. It's on the exit 5.
Yeah, they're coming down and round now, and you can see John Donkel as they're coming round 9, really getting close as they come up to 10 now. Singapore sling round 11 over the bridge, coming down to turn 13. And you can see Donkel really closing down, but Van der Berg defending well, has to be said.
Yeah, he's doing very well. The Williams man, the new dad. despite the probably obvious distractions and lack of sleep.
Yeah, definitely lack of sleep. You haven't been there, Adrian. Let me tell you, the first month is like purgatory.
Oh, Eddie, sorry, I've just seen Miguel Torni just go up the side of the pit road.
Yeah, he has indeed. That was on Bay Turn before the bridge.
Waiting for
Missed his braking
a
point.
safe time.
Yeah, waiting for safe release time. Oh no, he's decided. No, that's it. Couldn't find reverse, slammed it into first. So yeah, don't see that too often. To be fair, he's going to be in the bad books.
I do know that feeling. Eddie, am I seeing a few specks of rain? I think I am.
I think you are. Yes, definitely. Definitely. We are seeing a few. Yes, definitely. You can see it on that start-finish straight. We are starting to see a little bit of rainfall. Oh my goodness me. Well, okay. This is going to be very, very interesting. Definitely interesting. Jamie Hartman in. Rain will come down. I'm just having a quick scratch in my head trying to figure out how this is going to work out.
Yeah.
This is actually a golden opportunity for Nicky Visser.
Yes, I'd say it is. Although his tyres are at 50% wear at the moment. Got 26 laps on those ultra softs. Yeah, he's probably hoping this rain is going to come down a bit quicker because he won't want to do sort of too many more laps on these.
He won't. But I tell you what, the advantage is here. And looking at that, he's done 26 laps on those ultra softs. He's at 50% wear. That means that he is really cornering very precisely, let's put it like that, and not putting too much strain smoothly on his tyres. That would suggest to me that he is likely to probably push and stay out under damp conditions longer than Baz de Breen would be, I think, on those softs.
Yeah, and it's difficult, isn't it, when the rain's coming down like this, where it's not enough for the intermediates to be called upon. But again, it's really difficult to drive in the with slick tyres. So there's no correct tyre for these sort of greasy, I call them greasy conditions.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing to bear in mind,
circuit like this.
And the other thing to bear in mind is that Damie Hartman, whilst he's currently under AI, his car is going to stay out until wet conditions are actually official.
Yes, once the DRS is
deactivated.
Deactivated, that's the word. Yes, then you expect the Ferrari to automatically pit.
So that could be very interesting indeed, because Marcel Dronig has closed down that gap. He's 22 seconds behind about on lap 37. He's now 5.7 seconds behind 4 laps later. That just gives you an idea really of the pace, and you can see, I mean, 34 seconds now from Damie to Nicky Visser, 39, nearly 40 seconds to Baz de Breen.
Yeah, I mean, while the AI driver is driving for Damie, the difficulty of that AI driver is only set to 40 or 41.
Yeah.
So that's some sort of 5 seconds a lap slower generally than the top guys in this division or in this league.
Yeah, absolutely. Martin Parder-Cooper, in the meantime, he's in good points there. He's in P5, and it's looking a solid P5, I have to say, isn't it?
Yeah. He's. I think he's been helped slightly by John Donkel's battles that he's been having with other drivers on soft tyres ahead of him that we've seen.
Yeah.
I think if that wasn't the case, the Renault may be ahead of the Ferrari, but as it stands, it's currently not. And John actually gets a 3-second time penalty for his troubles as well. So, I think Parder-Cooper is fairly safe in that P5, as you said.
I think he is, because as you say, John is obviously not too far behind him, but he is on a 14-lap old ultra softs, and this rain is definitely coming down a lot heavier, isn't it? Yeah, and Marcel Droning's into the pits.
This is on the inters already.
Yeah, this has already gone on to the
DRS
inters.
is still DRS is still enabled. But
Well, this is what I was saying, because Davey Hartman's car is going to stay out. And this is what I was saying, that car will stay out until DRS is deactivated. This is actually, in a way, if although Damien isn't in, it's actually helping him to a certain extent.
Yeah, and I think Vix is actually right to go on to the
gone on to
it's not something I would do. He has, yeah.
That's interesting.
The rain is not coming down enough. See, this is difficult. There isn't what is the right call. As I was saying, I think Nicky is correct to go on to the inters purely because Hartman is not being controlled by Hartman, and he has a bit of a sort of safety cushion behind him. So Visser can risk trying the inters, and if they don't work, he can pit in again for the soft tyres or ultra softs.
He's definitely
and it won't lose
he's getting
too
wheel
much.
spin on those tyres without any. Definitely getting wheel spin on them.
Yeah, his lap time's not good.
They're definitely over rotating on those tyres. I mean, it's that horrible time, as you rightly said. It's that greasy time. You've got to make the call. If you can get through it, all he needs is maybe another 1 or 2 laps under these conditions, and he should be okay. But it does mean that rain has got to stay and or get heavier, because it is still quite light. All it's done is just made the track greasy, if anything. There's no actual damp on the track, so to speak. It's just the oil and the grease coming up.
Yeah, and because the air temperature is still sort of 29 degrees, the rain is just not settling. It hasn't got enough time, and it just sort of immediately evaporates.
Well, Jamie Collane, in the meantime, picking up a 5-second stop go for crossing the white line.
Hartman's AI driver has pitted in sprinters.
He has, and that's interesting. Let's see where that captain Droning's in again.
Yeah.
Droning's in again. He's going on to those inters. Did he get it wrong? Did he get it wrong on that pit crew? Yeah, he's going on to the inters. This is not helping him, but it's helping Parder Cooper, because Parder Cooper's now moved up into 4th place. Now this is important. Parder Cooper needs to keep a good, clean race effect, or a good, clean line on this lap, and he could possibly get the jump on Dronig, because he's got 18 seconds on him.
Yeah, he could well do. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the lap times, because Parder Cooper's still on the soft tyres, and personally I think the soft tyre is the right tyre to be on.
Now this is very interesting. Anyway. This is really, you can see him wheel spinning there around turn 6, I think it was. Yeah, it was. Definite over rotation from those tyres. It's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. We're seeing that with the softs, and we're seeing it with the inters.
Eddie De Breen's in now. De Breen's in, changing the. So De Breen actually just came in a lap ago for ultra soft tyres. He's now back in the pit for inters. Yeah, so drivers really sort of confused with what's actually the correct
way to
tyre.
go. Yeah, this really is very confusing, and it's really mixed it up, because Nicky Visser, who went on to those intermediates earlier, is now taken P1.
What's going on?
I have no idea, but I was watching that and I was thinking, yeah, Nicky, it's one of those calls, isn't it? I'm trying to remember the track that Hamilton did it at. I think, was it Japan?
Yes, I think it was Japan. Yeah.
Where he made that call and perfectly timed it to go on to those inters, and you can see the rain is coming down heavily, but Nicky really is struggling with those inters at this moment in time. He's going to be glad of this rain coming down. The question is how much damage is running on a drier track done to those inters? Not too much at this moment in time. It's looking good. They still look clean.
Yeah, Pardakoub's in now for his intermediates. I think it might have been worth trying
the jump. No, Marcel Dronig is ahead of him. Zander Herman's ahead of him, and now John Donkel. But John Donkel's coming round. This is going to be close. No, John Donkel's through. Martin Pardakoub will come out in P7. John Donkel moves up to P6. Zander Hermans, and there were we saying, or I certainly, saying, look, just wondering, is that his AI as well?
Can't tell though. It's going to be near him for me to...
Maybe near him enough to tell, actually. I'm just going on board John Donkel. I'm not too sure, but I think Zander Hermans is in there. I think he's okay. I think he is in. So he's in P5. Marcel Dronig is up to P4. Great result for Haas, as we said. Really important in this Constructors' Championship for Dronig to get as high up as he can. Damie Hartman, or his AI, is still there. He's in P3. Just going on board. Zander Hermans just coming around turn 13. Damie Hartman is still in that P3 position. Baz de Breen is now P2. Nicky Visser leads the way by 26 seconds. He's got a pit stop in hand.
Right, so we've gone from Damie Hartman leading the race to 26 seconds. It looked like it was going to be a full-on conclusion, in all honesty. To now Visser, who started
with Baz de Breen in between.
With Baz de Breen in between, that's right. And Visser actually did 5 laps in Q2 on soft tyres. So he started the race at a disadvantage, really, and somehow has found himself nearly 30 seconds in the lead. What? How? I don't get it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think Nicky will get it, but I think he'll be glad of it. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, big time. And you know, I'm really pleased actually that Nicky is leading this race. I do hope he wins it. I haven't seen Nicky win a race since I started commentating, so yeah, this will be
about
a
time
first for me. Yes, absolutely.
It's definitely about time. So there we have Nicky Visser at this moment in time is leading this race. Neither I nor Adrian can quite figure out how. But he is leading, and it's a great result for him. And if he maintains it, I mean, there's only 15 laps now remaining of this race. You know, the only thing that can change is either it goes back dry or it gets wetter. That's the only thing I can see at this moment in time.
Yeah, but I mean, if it stays this way, then yeah, this is kind of easy streak for Nicky.
Yeah, definitely. And Baz de Breen, as I say, he's now 27 seconds behind Nicky Visser. Damie Hartman, his AI, is putting up a great show. It's in P3, and he's got Marcel Dronig now 14 seconds behind him. He was closing down that gap, got down to 6 seconds before that rain started coming down. It just goes to show that's you know, the racing gods are smiling on Damie at this moment in time, I think.
I think they are. Yeah.
They've obviously got a bit of a contract with the old Norse gods, so you know. Okay, lads, we need some rain in Singapore. How about it?
Funny you mentioned the Norse gods. I don't know if you been watching the Twitter feed, but one of the Synergy drivers that signed up for F1 Tonight UK promoted the league by saying, promoted this race actually by saying that it's an all Danish league, and they do 100% races.
The foremost Danish league. You're regretting that now, my friend, aren't you? He's already been ribbed to death, I think, in the group as well.
I think he has, yeah. I think he has.
But we'll let him off.
Won't name any names.
No, we won't mention any names at all, Tom. Don't worry. So we are on board. Well, we are at this moment in time with Marcel Dronig is in P4. I love this aerial shot, actually. It's a lovely shot for this track. Comes around 13 now.
Yeah.
On that straight down towards sector 3. Final sector. And we have 14 laps remaining of this race. He is closing down that gap. I mean, he should take that P3 from the AI, but who knows? He's got close already, and he had to fall back, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he'll do it. I think he'll do it. He's not sort of too far off. What is he? 6 seconds, just over. Yeah, and rapidly closing. He's just got to maintain his composure and sneak past his AI as he just goes wide down the final turn.
Well, I've got to say, Zander Hermans is closing down quite convincingly now to Marcel Dronig. Got him in sight as he comes around 1, and Dronig's just coming around 3. And Dronig's struggling, but Zander Hermans seems to be in the zone now that we've gone to wet conditions.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems to sort of excel in these sort of greasy, damp, wet conditions, and it's just, yeah.
I hadn't picked this up from Zander before. I don't know if this is a new attribute that he's acquired, but he's really is, quite smooth and easy through these conditions, and you can see him, he's closing down quite convincingly to Marcel Dronig, isn't he?
He is indeed. Yeah. There's only one man on the track at the moment faster than him on that last lap, and that is Nicky Visser.
Wow.
But yeah, everyone else is slow.
Oh, it just goes to show you. So this could be comeback that we might be seeing from Zander Hermans in the Toro Rosso. He's currently P5, but big points difference from 5 to 4, and potentially 4 to 3, because we still haven't seen any change from Danny Hartman. It looks like he's definitely effectively under AI control now until the close of this race. If he was going to be coming in, he would have been back by now, I would have thought.
Yes, that's right. The stewards have confirmed, yeah, he just cannot get back in. So I don't think he is coming back, which is big shame.
Well, Dronig now on the back of that Ferrari. He's got to take care. Remember, as I said, although it is under 8, and he's into the pits.
Dronig's in.
Dronig's into the pits. Zander Hermans stays out. Dronig, how many laps has he done on those? 4?
Yeah, not too many, was it?
Is he going onto the wets? Is he going onto the wets?
Let's have a look here.
I think he is.
Yeah, they've got him ready. Blue wall tyres. Yeah, he's on the wet tyres. Full wets.
So Zander Hermans now battling out with
John's in as well, John Donkel.
And Ferrari.
John's only done 5 laps. He's going for the wets as well.
Come on, Zander. That's it. He makes the move. Gets past the Ferrari. So Zander Hermans now moves up into P3. Yes, you are hearing right. And to be fair, that's actually, it's well deserved. He's had a great season, and to give the opportunity. I mean, we were saying earlier on in this race, I think it was around about sort of the mid-20s. Oh, Zander, not the track for him. Obviously, not a favourite track for him, but never mind. But look, he's up in P3.
Yeah, I think that's testament to not just his ability, but his improvement over the sort of last 20 and 30 races that he's had. It's really good to see him up as high as that. Thoroughly deserves to be in P3 at the moment. Hopefully he'll manage to maintain that. I'm curious as to what's going to happen to Dronig and Donkel. Either they're going to be laughing or crying at the end of this race, based on that call.
Well, we've only got 12 laps remaining. I mean, the conditions are clearly wet, but whether they're sort of wet or intermediate wet, I'm not too sure at this moment in time, because there's no standing water on that track, and that's the thing you've got to take into account. The track is very hot, and as you said before, the water just simply evaporates. It may be looking as if it's coming down heavily, but it's what stays on the track that counts.
Yeah, that's quite right. Don't know if you're aware, Mickey Flanagan has a little sketch where he says, you know, you're going out, are you going out? Well, this is a case of, is it wet or is it wet?
Yeah,
and at the minute, I don't think it is wet.
Yeah, definitely. It's not wet. It is. I think it is still very much intermediate wet, and I really think that Marcel Dronig and John Donkel are going to rue that decision.
Well, I think John will just be pleased there isn't a driver ahead of him on soft tyres.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
well,
true enough.
Actually, I think he'd like a driver on soft tyres ahead of him.
Well, I've got to say, because he's down in P8 and he's back behind Hans van der Berg, and he's 14 seconds down the road to him as well.
Yeah, it's going to keep an eye on that gap actually.
So it's going to be tough. Marcel Dronig is 11 seconds behind Martin Paardekoper, but Martin Paardekoper is now closing down to the AI of his teammate, and he will be with him, I would suspect, before the close of this race.
Yeah, you'd thought so, wouldn't you?
And what a great result it's going to be for Ferrari. Because they will have
remarkably.
4th.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's that, 22 points? That's not too shabby at all. Oh dear, Dronig's just gone almost straight on actually at turn 13.
Oh dear, this is not going well. I just don't think there's enough damp on that track to warrant those wet tyres. There's not enough standing water. We're starting to see a little bit here in this sector 3, these sectors here, these sections here, but look at that. I mean, Hans van der Berg straight past him.
Yeah, it just makes it look easy, doesn't he?
He does.
I suppose it is easy when the tyres are on. That rain really is coming down though. It does look really heavy, and I'm not too surprised that they've made that call. I just think they might have done it a tad too early.
That is a possibility, definitely. I mean, we did see some standing water as they were coming around those penultimate turns of sector 3 around the base, and we can see it now, the spray coming up, but that is because he is using the wet tyres. Let's go on board with Jamie Collane as he comes up to the start-finish line. You can see, if you look at the track, it's damp, but there is no real standing water. There's a bit more here on the start-finish straight, definitely. It's built up there. But there are other sectors where it's a lot drier, so I still think it's intermediate territory, but it's going to take a lot, I think, for it to go full wet. So I think this rain is actually, if anything, starting to ease off again.
Do you think so? Yeah, it does. Sector 3 does look like it's really coming down, but yeah, in the sort of first sector, at the halfway point of the circuit, yeah, it does. Like you said, there's just not enough standing water for the wet tyre to be the right one.
Yeah, it's definitely patchy, and the question is if it either stays like this. If it gets heavier, then it's definitely wet territory. If it stays like it is, I'm not so sure. So I mean, this race really has been full of some very sort of tough decisions for the drivers, hasn't it?
Not only that, it's also been full of a few sort of surprises, and it all started from Jamie Collane's blistering lap in Q2, putting him second, and it sort of enticed me to call him for pole position, which I still don't regret. And ever since then we've had Damien Hartman leading the race, as I said earlier on, that he was 20-30 seconds ahead, and then suddenly he gets kicked from the session and can't rejoin. So that's his race not over, because he's still P4. Effectively, it will be P5 in just a moment. But then, after that, we've had Nicky Visser now leading the race by a good 30 seconds, despite starting on soft tyres that are actually 5 laps older than anyone else's.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It really has been quite topsy-turvy. I think that's probably the best way to actually put it. Definitely topsy-turvy. Yeah. It has been one of those races where anything can happen, and it actually has.
Yeah, quite right. Just there's still sort of 10 laps or so of this race to go. I wonder if there will be any more surprises. I would probably put my house on on saying there will be.
Well, as you said, there are 9 laps remaining of this race, and yeah, it's just, well, I mean, at the moment it's looking pretty sweet, as we say, for Nicky Visser. Baz de Brie certainly looking okay for second. Yeah, I think that's, those two are pretty much given, you know, unless something drastic happens. But then you got obviously Zander Hermans in that P3 position. Again, he's looking pretty good. I mean, he's got the AO and Damien Hartman 29 seconds behind him. But Martin Paardekoper is closing in. Then you got Hans van der Berg, and then you got Marcel Dronig. So, yeah, 9 laps remaining. Yeah, anything could happen, I think. I don't want to call this, Adrian. I really don't want to call this
No.
right now.
It's slightly worrying. Okay, I would have to say it's definitely wet conditions there. In fact, no, we already saw Droney come in. Stappers is on the wet tyres as well now. John Donkel's retired. Sorry, John Donkel, DNF.
Yeah, John Donkel has gone out. I'm just trying to see where that is. As Mark
Is that on the pit
Stappers comes
entrance?
round. I think it might be on the pit entrance, yeah. I can't see him, unless it was around turn 1.
Could be.
Yeah. So, round, yeah, I can't see him. Oh, he's letting somebody pass there. What's going on? Oh, it's Baz de Breen coming
Blue
past.
flags for Baz.
So, coming down to turn 3, I think it might... I don't know where he's
Some
gone
gap,
out.
wasn't there, between...
Yeah. And we're coming
Still
down,
showing
obviously,
P9.
the boulevard now. Towards turn 7. Still not there. Must have been round sector 2 then. Oh, I think it was turn 9. Yeah, it must have been turn 9. Still not caught up with him. Oh, goodness me. Where the hell is he? Around Singapore Sling 10.
1:33 behind John.
Yeah, he's just not going there. That's very odd. So John Donkel has definitely DNF'd.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, he has changed now.
Did see the car, but yeah.
So, where are we now? We are very confused. 8 laps now remaining. And Nicky Visser leads the way and is looking solid for that P1 position. What a fantastic result for the Mercedes driver. Baz de Breen is still in their P2, but he's 30 seconds down the road to Nicky Visser. Zander Hermans, the surprise of Singapore. It's not the Singapore Sling, it's the Singapore surprise for Zander Hermans in P3. We discounted him earlier on in this race. This wasn't the race for him. This wasn't the track where he was going to shine. Well, we were wrong, because when that rain came down...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. Hans van der Berg has just completely spun it. Made contact with Damien Hartman's AI. And yeah, just spun it on. I'm trying to see where it was actually. Turn 3.
Yeah, I was about to say, because he's coming down to 7 now. So yeah, turn 3. Hans van der Berg did get past. Well, he didn't get past actually. Damien Hartman's AI tried, but has now fallen behind him by about a good 5 seconds. Martin Paardekoper, in the meantime, has got ahead of that AI, has got him up into P4 position. And as I said, at the moment, it's looking pretty strong for a P4-5 for Ferrari, with only 7 laps remaining. Hans van der Berg has got to try again to get past that AI, and it's not an easy task, is it?
No, no, it's really not. You'd expect it to be fairly easy. You know, they're only on 40 difficulty. But yeah, it's yeah, because the drivers because this league actually has no ghosting whatsoever under any circumstances. So the AI drives are actually able to defend the position for their human counterparts. Just having a look back at that incident, also with Hans Vandenberg, there wasn't actually contact between him and the Ferrari. Just lost it on the entrance of turn 3. Put power down a bit too quick.
Well, we've got 6 laps remaining, and you can see that these conditions are definitely a lot wetter than they were previously. And Hans Vandenberg now makes the move, gets past that AI, puts him up into P5. He's going to be happy with that, I think, isn't he? I mean, good points there for him.
Yeah, solid 10 points for Hans, and it's thoroughly deserved, because there was a point in this race where he was sort of P11, wasn't he? And some way back, and it just didn't look like it was he was really going to get anything from it, and we were sort of playing the violin slightly.
We were. I remember you saying, it's going to be 2 hours for no payback, and I think he's obviously watching as well. He must have heard that and thought, hang on a minute, I'm not having this. I need some points. I'm not going to go away for 2 hours and not get any points. I want the points. And, well, he's certainly got them at this moment in time, sitting in that P5 position. Cooper, though, what a fantastic job from Cooper. We've been saying for a number of races now, come on, Martin, you can do it. Let's get through that. And he's delivered. He's delivering the goods tonight, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah, as I said, this is the... I'm really hoping this is the turning point for Martin, and hopefully he can get back to being in the positions that he's used to being in, as we saw from him last season. I think this is the start of it. So long may it continue.
Yeah, well, certainly a good run, Singapore, and then we got another inverted commas street circuit next week at Sochi as well. So I mean, a very different track, has to be said. But definitely a great job from Martin Cooper this evening. He's going to be, he should be very proud of himself for delivering that P4 this evening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Damien Hartman's AI still down in P6, but now Jamie Collane is closing in on the back. And again, important points for Jamie as well. And Jamie's he's not had the race he wanted, has he?
He hasn't, no. It could have gone a lot better, but I think it could have gone a lot worse as well than this 6th place that he's in at the moment. I think this is his, providing he does finish this race, this will be his best result so far. But you have to feel for him, because there's certainly more that he could have done. As I said, so much pace, or so much promise in Q2. Qualified 4th in Q3.
Yeah, I mean, he really has.
Just didn't.
It's just that the start of that race. It's just he's not quite got the I think the craft or experience as yet on those starts. Struggled, certainly, had to come in and pit. Had issues. I think it was front wing replacement he had as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah, lap 2 come in.
Yeah, and then fell back. But and this is the thing. This is the grit. Never ever give up, because you just don't know what is going to happen ahead of you. And this is another reflection of that. And Jamie's stuck with it, and he's got good points. He's up in P6. Good points to be had.
Yeah. I mean, that's nothing to be sniffed at. 8 points there for 6th place. And I think he can be proud of what he's done here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely concur with that. And let's have a look now. I mean, obviously, Damien Hartman down to 7, but Marcel Dronig, he's down in P8. He's gone on to another set of wets now. It's just, this rain has destroyed this Singapore Grand Prix for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, so essentially his 5th pit stop, which I believe is more than any other driver so far this season, or indeed last season.
Yeah. You've got a feel for him, because he was doing so well. He was up in that P4 position, looking so strong, bringing valuable points home for Haas. and then the rain came down, and it just went downhill from there, didn't it?
Well, it quite literally rained on his parade.
Yeah.
He was up in.
Adrian, you are definitely picking up some bad habits from me.
Well, we were talking about him, going for a potential podium. Because Damien Hartman's
was on AI,
left the session. So it was sort of almost another foregone conclusion that the Haas would be third. But once that rain started coming, it just shook everything up so much, and unfortunately, he sort of fell to the bottom of the shaker.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that decision of going on to the wets has cost Marcel Dronig dearly, putting him, down into P8. It obviously cost, John Donkel even more dearly, because it actually took him out of the race. So, you've got to feel for them. You can understand the call, but it just wasn't the right call at that time, was it?
No. Yeah. Yeah, but what do you do? The rain's coming down. It looks pretty heavy. You go onto the wets. You notice nobody else is on the wets. You think you'll have, an advantage. And to be fair, in one respect, what have you really got to lose?
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, we're riding on board now with Mark Stappers. He's bringing down P9, still in the points, obviously due to DNFs, but we haven't seen much of Mark. We haven't commented much on Mark. It's not really been much of a Grand Prix overall for him. Great driver, don't get me wrong, but this one, not one he needs to sort of think about or remember too much.
No, he'll want to forget this one pretty quickly. Good to see him still in the race, of course. It's 2 points for ninth place. I think he just wants it to end as soon as possible.
The sooner the better, I think, at this moment in time. But not one for him to put in the picture book for future reference, I think.
Yeah, drifting around turn 3. Oh, yellow's in sector 2. Who's that for? That is for Jamie Collane.
Oh, Jamie Collane.
That looks. Where is that?
Yeah, he's still in though. He's still in, but
he's missing a chunk
just
of his
lapping
wing.
him now. I think he's missing
Front
some
right.
winglets.
Yeah.
He's lost the winglets on that front right. You can just see it now, and you can see how that's affecting the downforce there. No, not what he wanted really, because he's going to have to come in and pit, and he's going to have to try and get past Damien Hartman again in 2 laps. He's not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's actually worth staying out, because the gap behind, he's only got to defend to Damie, well, Damie's AI, and we know, he is in. He is in. The damage is significant enough.
I don't think he could live with it, to be honest with you.
No, okay.
I really don't think he could live with it. It was too much.
So he risks crashing again, doesn't he, due to the lack of downforce, especially in these conditions.
And whichever way, he's still going to be picking up points. So I think it was a good move from him, to be honest. I think it was a brave move, but the right move.
Yeah. Quite mature as well, to be honest, to do that. A lot of drivers may have just stuck it out. As I say, no, I was just contemplating it myself. Yeah.
But no, I think he's made the right move. Bring it home, get a solid points. Don't take the risk of getting no points. It's better to have some rather than none, and I think he's made the right move on there. I mean, he's not going to get past Damien Hartman, or very unlikely to in the lap, but he's still going to pick up valuable points for that P7.
Yeah, that's right.
The only thing he's got to worry about is Marcel Dronig, who's currently on his tails with 1.5 seconds off the back of him. That's the only thing he's got to worry about at this moment in time.
Well, yeah, he was just half a second behind him when he actually came out the pit. Marcel's on the wet tyres, and they're just not getting any sort of traction.
Nicky Visser now starting his penultimate lap.
This is still the fastest man out there.
Just coming round Bay now. So it's still 30 seconds down the road to Nicky Visser. Sander Hermans, well, he's in P3. And I think he's going to be absolutely chuffed to bits with that position, isn't he?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, that's certainly the first podium that I've seen from Hermans, and indeed the first win that I've seen from Nicky.
Yeah,
and all three of all the drivers in the top, well, really the top 5 can all be proud of their performances.
Indeed. I mean, you know, this is a race of firsts for you, Adrian. Certainly here at Singapore, and Martin Parder-Cooper. Good race from Martin. Good race. And, you know, solid points needed at Ferrari with his teammate, obviously suffering that technical glitch. So important that he brought the bacon home as well, and he's doing so tonight, isn't he? P4. Good show from him.
Yeah, it's a nice recovery. Bearing in mind, as you said, the glitch that his teammate had suffered. Yeah, and it's a good drive on sort of a personal level for him. As I said earlier on, it's important for him to have a performance like this, just to sort of try and turn his performances in general around.
Yeah, definitely. So great show from him. And, well, Hans van der Berg, the new father, gets into P5. I mean, great result for him as well. I mean, he was another one. We were writing him off just as much as, obviously, Sander Hermans. But what a fantastic result for him.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Hans. Yeah, I mean, this is such an unpredictable sort of track and race anyway, Singapore. When you think you've seen it all, there's still sort of something else that can possibly happen. And you know, as you've seen tonight, yeah, it has. But you know, it's not just luck. You know, for you to be able to get P5 when it looks like you weren't going to get any points at all. So you know, big respect for Hans van der Berg to put it back.
Definitely, he's put up a great show. Right, we are now with our race leader, Nicky Visser, and he's just coming around down towards turn 14 into the final sector now of his final lap. He's a happy bunny, wouldn't you say? I mean, you know, great points for him.
Yeah, thoroughly deserving of this win here. As I said, first one I've seen from him, and it's definitely a long time coming. I've seen him lead so many races.
So there we have it. Nicky Visser comes round the final turn, does a bit of showboating as the fireworks go off. He takes the win here in Singapore for this season 5 F1 tonight, Singapore Grand Prix. Fantastic race there from Nicky, has to be said, and one that I'm sure he's going to be very proud of. Second place, well, that's going to be going to Baz de Breen in the Renault. As it comes round now, final set of corners, onto that start-finish straight. Baz de Breen picks up second place. Sander Hermans, well, he's still a bit of a way back, but he will be picking up P3. Martin Parder-Cooper, fantastic race from him, he picks up P4. Hans van der Berg for Williams is P7. The AI, Jamie Hartman, is P6. P7, Jamie Collane comes over the line. Then we have Marcel Dronig, he's in P8 finishing there. And then Sauber of Mark Stappers takes the final place of P9. Fantastic race, wasn't it, Adrian? I mean, you know, hands off, by the way, to John Donkel for Renault, Miguel Torni for Toro Rosso, Peter Phillips for Red Bull, Boy Williamson for Mercedes, Guido Erschen for Force India. The DNFs there. Sad to see, got to say. But there we have the podium now. And our race winner, Nicky Visser. Great job there. But the yellow overalls of Baz de Breen there for second place. Valuable points for them. But third place, Sander Hermans there in the background in the blue. He's a happy man. Gotta be said.
Driver of the day, Eddie? And if you want to have a quick look at your...
Do you need to ask? I'm highlighting him now.
I haven't got the stream up, but I'm presuming you're highlighting Party Cooper.
No, Sander Hermans.
Fair enough.
Gotta say,
Thoroughly deserved, of course.
Thoroughly, yeah.
First
I mean,
podium.
I can see where you're coming from with Martin, and no, you know, not taking it away from Martin at all in any way, shape, or form. Fantastic result for him from 11th to 4th. But for me, I've got to say, Sander Hermans, first podium finish. He's been really delivering throughout this season. He has progressed so much. You know, I think, you know, to me, yeah, he's proved it tonight.
Yeah, I completely understand and respect that decision. That's deserved of driver of the day.
Yeah, but you know, again, close call because Martin really did a fantastic job as well. But I want to see Martin deliver next week at Sochi. I think Sochi is a track for him. You know.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
Yep, could be.
So we are in Sochi next week, and this is going to mix things up now as well in the championship, isn't it, Adrian?
It is, yeah. Because right, so I'm trying to work out the points now because it hasn't ended the way that I had sort of predicted that it was going to end. At the halfway
Nicky
point
Visser
of the
is on
race with Hartmann.
128. John Donkel doesn't pick up any points, so he will actually move up into 5th place ahead of John Donkel.
2 points ahead.
So 2 points ahead of John Donkel, 1 point behind Rob Mulderink in 4th place.
Wow, how tight is that?
So, you know, Seb Bogart obviously stays on the 211. Damie Hartmann, well, I can't remember how many points he picked up for 7th place, but not a huge amount there.
Six points.
So that puts him on 203. Baz de Breen obviously would pick up more points. So 2nd place, that's 18, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's 180. Baz de Breen will be on. So it's going to really, that midfield, 4th, 5th and 6th, really tighten up. But we'll have confirmation of those results, obviously, next week. We hope you've enjoyed it. It certainly has been a fantastic, I've enjoyed it, I've got to say. So, but then again, I suppose I should. Adrian, any closing thoughts for you there, mate?
Not really, other than what a fantastic race that was. Brilliant. Just I know I say this all the time, but it was non-stop action, and it's really unpredictable, especially at that circuit. It's you never sort of quite know what's going to happen, even if it looks like it's kind of obvious in the start. It doesn't always end that way. It virtually never ends that way.
Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. Well, I'm going to say good night from myself. See you next week.
Yep, and good night from me. See you in Sochi.